start this podcast?
Can you go ahead and start this?
Thank you guys for joining us. I want to start this
wait,
podcast.
That was awkward. Start again. Can Michael Clark Duncan even whisper? Or could he?
Well,
could he?
you can't now.
God, don't steal my
Come on,
thunder.
guys.
Welcome to the podcast. I wanted to start this podcast by saying it is official. Daredevil's getting renewed for season 2 in 2016.
Oh my god!
I was worried we were gonna have to wait at least 2 years because they were gonna try and get through all the other shows, Marvel shows, before doing another one. But that's really good news. Anyways, welcome to 4Player Podcast. My name's Nick Henderson. I'm joined today by Brad Simons,
Hello.
Nolan Hedstrom,
How's it going, everybody?
and Christopher Guthridge.
No.
What?
Hey, what's up?
This is the official podcast of 4playernetwork.com. This is episode 408. It's April 21st, 2015. And let's go ahead and waste some time. We have some time to kill because we don't have a lot of new games to talk about. So let's just
We're on time.
and we're on time today. This is a very strange feeling. But hey, Brad,
Yes.
have you seen any movies lately?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I watched Foxcatcher.
How was
How
that?
was
what
it?
is that?
That's the Steve Carell,
Yeah.
who's like a professional
Comedy romp?
wrestler, pole vaulter, shot
The concept is Steve Carell
wrestler.
he's not a wrestler. He is training a wrestler. Essentially, Channing Tatum is an Olympic gold medalist.
Yes, he's a wrestler.
And his older brother, Mark Ruffalo, is a better wrestler than Channing Tatum. And Steve Carell wants to start a wrestling camp. Well, I mean, this is based on a true story.
I have
so-
never heard of this.
Really?
Really?
It's based. What's the guy's name? John
Like Wazama.
E. DuPont.
Oh yeah, DuPont.
Yeah, DuPont. And essentially, what happened was
Of the famous DuPont.
of the famous DuPonts, correct? Back in the 80s.
Wait, don't spoil the story.
It's not. Don't spoil something that really happened 20 years ago.
Yeah, because I feel like most people don't know what actually happened.
I knew what happened as soon as I remember I mean it happened before I was born.
I
Okay.
can tell you
was
right
just
now.
hearing
It's not
about
like
I
it.
can tell you
MLK,
right
you
now
know?
what you're about to tell me. I don't know what
Well,
happened.
apparently it's a pretty dramatized event of what happened too.
Yeah, well, to an extent, yeah.
Anyways,
Did you like the movie, Noel?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Is it
The
theater?
only thing that's hard to believe is Mark Ruffalo beating Channing Tatum in wrestling. But I mean, I guess wrestling isn't just about strength; it is about skill.
I mean,
And
Mark
know-how.
Ruffalo does have the advantage. I mean, am I right? Did
Well,
he get?
he
Yeah,
actually
right.
did get a little,
angry?
He did get a little bulked up for this movie.
Oh.
All that
yeah.
gamma radiation.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, sorry. This is not a movie podcast. We all know that. Let's talk about video games.
Okay.
I feel like I did.
Brad's
watch
very
something.
quiet today.
Because I'm trying to think. I feel like I watched something. I just can't remember. God damn it.
Crispy and I saw Ex Machina.
That was really good.
Oh,
That was
wait.
really good.
Was I right?
No.
No,
Oh, damn it.
but
you fell into the trap.
but part
Was that what they wanted people to think?
Well,
Don't-
it's I don't know.
Yeah, let's not.
yeah.
that is a movie
I
you
just
don't want
hit
to
the mic.
spoil for
It
sure.
is twisty. It's just not twisty.
Save
how
it
you
for
think
the
it's
film
twisty.
podcast.
Oh yeah, we're
The
doing
popcorn
that.
cast?
Save it for the popcorn
Guys,
cast.
we are about 100 and God, only, what are we? $150 something dollars away from hitting our Patreon milestone, where we're going to start up the official 4Player Popcorn Cast podcast, where we talk about movies and.
What we should do is we should just record a bunch and just hold them hostage until people get that. You know what I'm saying? Like Brad was saying, we'll eventually release these.
Well,
but-
we're going to record
but
one
n-
for the
but not
Avengers
until-
for sure.
How are we doing that? None of us are going to be in the same city when that comes
Well,
out.
I'm not going to be here. I expect y'all to do it, or something, right?
But plans already fell through with that.
Oh yeah. Well, you don't have to see it day one, especially since we're not being held to any kind of schedule for this one because we haven't hit that milestone yet.
Hey, Crispy.
Hey, what's up?
What's up? How's Game of Thrones?
Fuck you.
I have not seen episode 2.
Oh, it's
It's better than episode 1.
Getting better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Action's picking up.
If-
they
if-
they kind of shot their load on a really cool book moment really early though.
Oh, okay. Oh, did they?
What?
I'm gonna guess time at the very end of the episode.
Involving what character?
The very end of this week's episode.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Tell
yeah.
me involving what character?
Arya,
Okay.
No. What?
right?
Drogon.
Oh, okay. We're gonna-
Oh.
Yeah, that was really
Yeah.
kind of pissed
Never
about
mind.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
No, just hey, video
Moving on.
games, right?
Moving on. Anyway, video games, guys. Video
Fighting
games.
fits?
We've been.
Nope.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Top of the,
We'll talk about it
Yeah,
later.
yeah.
We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
We'll talk about it later.
But
We'll talk about it later.
Right now, we'll talk about video games. I actually want to start with Nolan this week.
Ooh.
Because Nolan, you actually played the game that was chosen by our subscriber of the month.
Yes,
this month.
Disruptor 486.
486. Disruptor 486. And look, I even put his name on the thingamabob.
Very nice.
So we're gonna talk about Betrayer.
Yeah, Betrayer.
I've never touched this. I've been interested in this game since I saw it at PAX, but I never played it at PAX. I just watched some other people play it. And I'm going to be playing it on Friday during my broadcast. But
Is this the game about the Roanoke colony?
I don't know.
Or am I confused?
I think it is. Yeah.
There's a colony. It's like the
There's conquistadors.
1600s.
Yeah.
It is about a colony.
It's like
It is black and white.
like early like New World settlements.
Yes.
Like
It's, so yeah. There's you're there. You wash up on a shore, I guess, and yeah, it's black and white.
Holy shit, is that the whole map?
Kind of like a
No,
Fallout
that's
game.
just this area.
Is it open?
Yes, and that's actually a lot smaller than you think it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Kind of like Stalker or something.
Yeah. You open up on like a shory area. You find some notes and shit, and there's like kind of this mysterious shopkeeper who's kind of like trying to like lead you on. Like he has like shops and he's like, please take what you want, but leave money. Well, you kind of have to leave money. It's not like won't just let you take it. But yeah, so one of the things is everything is in black and white except for certain few things. Like enemies have red highlights on them. Some like environmental things.
I'm
like
going to
you'll
guess
find-
blood is also bright red.
Well, there's not. Yeah, I mean when it splashes out of enemies' bodies, but like certain things like chests that you can interact with that usually have gold in them. There's these little like water like barrels that you can refill. You have water skin that's also like your healing item. They have red tints
What
to them.
kind of character are you in this game exactly?
You're a guy.
Just a dude?
Yeah. See right there, I'm healing up because those guys just shot me.
bruh.
And so really, one of the things is a lot of things take effect in this game. Actually, right now, that's not what it normally looks like. I adjusted the visual settings. Later on, I'll put them back to what they look like by default.
Wait, what's
Is
different?
it like
Oh.
darker? Or?
Yeah, no, it's actually brighter.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, I
It's, like,
actually dimmed
blown
it down
out,
a
or-
little bit because it was hurting my eyes because it was kind of bright.
It's all,
But you can also turn on full color. in
It's
the game.
very-
full color exists.
Really?
Yeah, with like a slider, you can just turn it on.
But that's silly. You
that
don't
is
want-
weird.
And so that's the thing is I actually don't enjoy it in full color as much because it in full color those things that would be highlighted enemies, items, stuff like that, it's not as obvious anymore.
I feel like that's kind of undercutting the visual appeal of the game by giving people the option of turning that off. Like,
Yeah.
part of the appeal of this game is definitely like it has a very
Well, I
recognizable.
don't think most people are going to turn it off.
No, they won't.
No,
and most
I-
people might not even know
It's
it's
just
there.
weird that it exists. It's like you create a game with a really cool looking art style, and you're like, but you could turn that off if you want.
Okay, so
Kind of
But-
strange.
so-
Kind of strange.
So what I'll say is one of the other elements in this game is sound. Sound plays a huge fucking role in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So down from like wind, like you'll hear the wind come in. You'll see like that's why there's so much foliage. You can see how things are bending and
It
stuff.
looks gorgeous. Holy
Oh
shit.
no, it does. And so if you're downwind from an enemy, or if you're upwind from an enemy and the wind blows, they might like I guess smell you or hear you more. Like
Yeah.
the wind will carry sound, and so you can actually run up on enemies if the wind's blowing towards you, because you know the sound's being carried away from the enemy, so you can actually sneak up on them easier. But one thing is enemies can see ridiculously far in this game. Like 99% of the time, the enemies see me before I see
What
them.
are the enemies exactly?
So they are Spaniards, but they're kind of these weird.
Are they demon Spaniards?
Kind of, yeah. It's kind of weird. So they look like the Spanish. They have those helmets, like those
Conquistadors?
Yeah, conquistador style helmets.
So there is an element of like supernatural. In this game.
Definitely, no,
Okay.
definitely.
I was always kind of confused. I saw this game at first. I saw it from a distance, and I always thought this was like a feudal Japan Ronin type game. And then
no.
someone told me to take place in like the colonies, and I was like,
Yeah.
what?
And so I have two other weapons on me besides this bow and arrow. I do have a flintlock pistol and a musket, but they do take like 10 seconds to reload between each shot.
Yeah.
So they're very like not reliable. And so the other thing is you have limited ammo. So you have
And
arrows.
you say as I'm watching the footage, and you're shooting like 6 arrows.
Yeah,
into a
because
wall.
the problem is with this bow I have, there's a 20% chance that the arrow will be deflected off the enemy. And that one, I remember it happened quite a bit. Like you hear like a tung, and the arrow goes flying off.
Huh.
And the thing that sucks is you can physically see the arrows on the ground and go and pick them up, but they're really hard to see, which can be frustrating.
I would imagine because it's a light colored arrow and it's like in a black and white game in grass. That's...
It's a red arrow. It looks red.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's just kind of small. And so the thing is, enemies, they'll like wait for you to like stop moving, and then they'll start shooting. So you can juke them to avoid their like projectiles.
Yeah.
But it's kind of difficult. So this guy,
this reminds me.
This fucking guy is the fucking bear. He literally sounds like a bear. He makes bear noises, and he like fucking has a lot of health.
This reminds me of Far Cry, but a black and white.
Yeah, no, definitely. I got a Far Cry vibe from it. Yeah, I'm just trying to run away from it. But so this is actually the second area. So the first major area you go to, there's this little village, and so you go in there and you're kind of exploring and you're finding these notes, and you find a trowel and you're able to dig up some like kind of interesting looking areas, and you find like an ear.
And like a severed ear?
Yeah. And so all of a sudden now you can hear things you couldn't hear before. And then you pick up an eye, and now all of a sudden you can see things you couldn't see before.
Kind of like in Almost Heroes.
Yeah.
When the guy gets his ear cut off, they're like, Bidwell, can you hear me, Bidwell?
I don't think it's quite the same as that. But an argument could be made.
And so then
I can't believe you just referenced Almost Heroes.
Right?
I love that movie.
So I find this bell, and I hook it up and I ring it, and all of a sudden the entire world changes.
Yeah.
Like it looks like this, but all of a sudden it's completely different. Sounds are different. Like the draw distance gets cut to shit because it's like foggy and stuff. And all of a sudden I see like this like ghost thing. And so I walk up and I start talking to it, and he's like, "My wife, like, where's my wife?" And then all of a sudden, like, I'm back in the normal world, and there's a woman standing there, and she's like, "What are you talking? Who are you talking to?" And I'm like, "That ghost." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And it's this woman in red. And she's like, "Oh, I'm trying to find my sister." Yeah, exactly. She's trying to find her sister and stuff. And so now there's actually quests in this game. Like I have a bunch of open quests.
This game is not at all what I thought it was.
No, it's not.
But that's cool. I don't know. To me, this was a very like mysterious game. I don't know what I didn't really know. I thought it was a survival horror. I didn't even know.
No,
really
it's definitely still. I mean, look at this fucking guy in the second area who's like a flaming ash monster. Yeah.
A flaming ass monster.
Ash, not ass.
Oh, sorry.
Ash.
I don't know. When I first saw this, I didn't even really realize it was so combat like heavy.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of combat.
It does. I mean, I'm watching this footage and I'm like, this reminds me of Far Cry, but obviously with a darker tone, and it feels a little horror.
Oh no, it's definitely spooky.
And that's
like,
cool.
So when I went in that when I rang the bell and I'm now in that new area, there's no more of these Spanish conquistadors. Now they're like skeletons that pop out of the ground.
Dude, this game sounds rad.
Yeah, and so the thing is, like I said, you don't ever. I very rarely see enemies before they see me, and you hear. You hear when they spot you. It makes a sound, and you can. That's why I've been. I don't remember who suggested it, but I thank them for suggesting I play it with headphones on.
Yeah.
Because like it makes a huge difference with like 360, being able to hear where it's coming from.
Okay.
Because you can then pinpoint, oh, that's where they saw me from. So sometimes if you see me playing and I randomly like turn off another direction, it's probably because I heard an enemy see me, and I'm like, oh shit, they're over there, and I'm getting ready to start shooting them.
It's very weird to say.
Yeah, and
does
see
the
me.
wind mask their sound too?
Yes.
So
there is a specific listen mode, which from what I've learned plays more in like the dark area than in this light one. So when you go into this dark area, like I found all this stuff that was covered in corruption. So there are these posts that normally I would go to, and I would get information, but they were covered in corruption. I couldn't do anything. And so when I went into the dark world, you could see the corruption. And then all of a sudden, when I interacted with it, all these skeletons start popping out, and I kill them all, and then the corruption's gone, and everything's kind of back to normal. And so I had to do that a bunch in the.
Let me ask you something.
What's up?
What is driving you through this game? What is driving you through the world? What's your motivation?
The mystery, kind of trying to figure out what's going on. I mean,
like is that your objective?
I mean, you're trying to figure out what happened to the colony, right?
Yeah. So you have a bunch of different mini quests. So one of them is when I left the colony, I found all these graves, and they were all like, I kind of interact with them, and I see all these people who died, and like I think one of the first main quests you get is that ghost I was talking about, and he's like, so now my goal is kind of find out what happened to his wife and his kid. At the same time, this lady in red's like, oh, you know what? where's my sister? Can you help me find her? So you're kind of, it's kind of just, that's what's driving you, I guess, to an extent.
So like the whole Roanoke colony mystery thing has always been super interesting to me. So like if this is at all based or kind of taking inspiration from that story, that mystery, like this would be totally up my alley. Not to mention it looks like it.
So I mean the footage I'm
like
capturing right here
well.
is not super indicative of the game, just because I've been trying to take this fort and it's been serving a lot of.
You even have to take forts.
Well, I mean this particular one, yeah. So I found
you
this
have to climb to the top of a tower. And...
No, not to my knowledge. I don't know. I never fucking get in the fort. Spoiler alert.
Did anybody...
I die every time I try and take over this.
Did anybody
fort.
see that? I forgot who tweeted it. I feel like it may have been. It was someone in the gaming industry. Somebody tweeted, and it was a picture they had taken with their phone, or they were in Japan, I guess, and they saw like a giant pagoda, and it was huge, and they tweeted, and it was just like, does anyone else here have like this just distinct urge to climb to the top of this thing? And this game is giving me the same kind of vibes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Looks like it's fun to explore.
No, it's I've definitely been enjoying exploring the areas. Like I said, in the darker world. When you do your listen, you have actually a listen button. You'll hear things like these kind of sounds, of which are fucking creepy, but they kind of help direct you towards where you need to be going. But yeah, I got jumped right there.
Well, it looks spoopy.
So you can play it. I think one of the reasons people describe it kind of Dark Souls-esque is you can have it to where all your loot gets dropped on your body when you die. I have that turned off because I don't want to fucking deal with that.
I'm dealing with enough of that this year.
Yeah.
No more.
There's a bunch of. So this is the shop I was talking about. I'm restocking on supplies because I had lost a lot of them on that run. But you can upgraded bows that do more damage. You get upgraded weapons. You can decrease your weapon reload times and stuff like that.
This game didn't come out this year, right?
No, last year.
Damn.
Yeah.
Why?
But I don't know. Like I still want to play some more. I don't know if it's just good. This is me adjusting the thing that. So this is what it looks like by default.
Yeah, it's more.
Oh, the contrast.
Yeah,
is
the
way
contrast
higher.
is really high, and I just my eyes kind of got tired of that after looking at it for so long, and so I just kind of made it a little less contrasty.
Yeah, it does look like it might be a little hard on the eyes.
So I mean, I would definitely say start off playing it like this. And if you like it, you like it. But then after a while, like I said, I just ended up turning it down just because it was easier on my eyes.
Well, I'm pretty excited. I'm going to be playing this on a Friday. I'm taking a week off of System Shock, mostly just because I've been playing that game for like 6 weeks now.
Yeah.
But this was our Supporter of the Month's game of choice.
Correct.
And I'm glad. I've been meaning to play this for a while, so I'll be playing it on Friday at about 7 p.m. So check that out. And you're playing it on what?
Thursday. I'll
Thursday.
be more on Thursday.
So you'll see a little bit of this game on Thursday and Friday on 4pp.tv. Brad?
Yeah.
You and Crispy have been playing a little bit of the... We talked about Mortal Kombat last week, but y'all have been playing a little bit of the story mode?
I finished it.
Well,
You
I didn't
finished
finish
it?
Yeah. It's not super
Well,
long.
I heard it was kind of short.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
How long did it take you? Was it about that 3 hours that people were saying?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
3 hours?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I was like, I'm at a good stopping point. They're like, no, you just got another fight. Just finish it. I was like, what? Okay.
Maybe I should just
Yeah.
knock that out so I can add a game to my list for the year.
Well, I didn't just play the story mode, though. I spent some time kind of exploring the other single-player content because I really enjoyed that stuff.
Like the
in
towers.
Mortal Kombat 9 and even Injustice to an extent.
Yeah.
Because they both have these massive 300 match, like 300 challenge room tower or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't have that in this game. They have like a series of other towers that kind of... There's different kinds of towers. There's living towers that change like every day, and one changes every week, and they sort of have a like a single quirk to them, and as you go up in the tower, that changes. A certain type of attack does hurts you or something, and as you get higher up, it does more and more damage to you, so it's harder. And those are the living towers. They're kind of like these ladders that get reset, and that you get scored on them. And
Yes.
and then they have like the classic tower where you just kind of go up and fight a bunch of dudes. They have towers where you kind of and they're all like about 10 fights, 9 fights or whatever. and where it's kind of like test your luck,
Yeah.
where it's you get
random attributes,
every
power-ups
time.
and shit. Yeah.
And then they have one where like they're like custom. They're not custom towers, but they're like random towers where it's not random power ups you get, but it's random like stage effects. Like one of them, there's like lasers shooting during the stage, and every level so it was something different. It's cool. I feel like there's a lot of stuff to do, but it's different because it doesn't feel like you're kind of fighting towards this ultimate goal of like climbing this 300 level tower, and I feel like it doesn't hold my interest in that same way. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
That it's all kind of broken up, and you just kind of choose what you want to do instead of this. Wait,
is this 300 level? This 300 level tower is not part of the story mode, is it?
No.
That sounds like
No, it's
part
not
of
even in
player.
this at all. I'm talking about the last two NetherRealms games.
Oh, gotcha.
Which the thing is, the difference between those is it wasn't just like this time y'all both kind of float in the air when y'all pop each other up. It was like you were doing weird shit, like there was like weird mini games and stuff as you were going through there or whatnot. There's nothing like that this time. So I mean, so there's some cool stuff to do, especially because you can create custom matches with like you know like the test your luck stuff. In the crypt, I think you can unlock like 100 different things like modifiers, and you can create a match to fight with your friends where you choose like 2 of them, and that could lead to some cool
Speaking
things.
of the crypt, someone last week, I forgot who it was, someone said that the crypt does not have
No,
alternate costumes.
it does. It's just okay. So let me tell you about the crypt.
As long as I can unlock Reptile's alternate costume, which should be his classic costume.
Well, good luck.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not?
You can look at the costumes.
Even the alternate ones?
Yeah, like both of them look like the new version of.
Well, I mean,
there's a
like
bunch of
there's
different kinds.
everyone has like 2 different versions, I think, at the start, but you can unlock additional costumes through the crypt, I think.
People don't have different costumes at the start.
No, they don't. Like when you go into the profile viewer, you can see what all the different like unlockable costumes are for each character. And I'm pretty sure both of his were because they have a DLC pack coming out later. That's the MK Classic.
Okay, so
Oh, that just ruined the whole thing for me.
All right.
Come on.
So the crypt,
I will buy that. Fuck me.
I kind of like the crypt in Mortal Kombat 9. It was simple, but I feel like you were unlocking outfits right away.
Dude, the crypt-
I spent like half an hour in the crypt and I got 0 out. Well, I think I finally got eventually 1 outfit. The crypt is kind of this half-baked like Legend of Grimrock thing, but you don't actually do anything except walk around. And occasionally, like a spider or something will like jump up and you gotta like tap the quick time event button. And
What happens if you fail?
nothing. If you tap the right button, it gives you some
win.
coins. Usually kind of an
But
insignificant
the
amount.
crypt is always like, I feel like they didn't even need to do this. Like in Mortal Kombat 9, the crypt was just, or maybe even if it was 8, like it was just a giant room with a bunch of coffins standing up on end, and you could just literally go through them and like, I'm gonna pick this
It's all
one,
it needs
and it was
to
always
be.
just like, what's in the box?
They have these little kind of like puzzles too, where it's like you can't unlock this area until you find a weapon to cut through this wall.
There's
and
an
then it's
inventory.
like, ooh, I found
Raiden staff.
Yeah,
You can
Raiden
teleport
staff
now.
or Quan Chi.
Here's the thing.
hands.
Yeah. No, I got a reptile claw.
Yeah, reptile's claw was one.
I didn't even know what it did, but I found Kinshi's sword, and now I can slice through
call him Daredevil.
the spider webs. Here's the weird thing about it. One, it controls like really clunky. It's not fun to navigate around that world. Like Legend of Grimrock's really snappy and quick. This is kind of like everything feels a little delayed and it's just kind of slow. The problem is,
Oh, what is that?
God, the problem is
Creature of the Black Lagoon.
it's not. It's too half baked.
Yeah.
Like they didn't go far enough to make it actually feel like this thing you want to do. Kind of like, you know, like think of like Air Guys or like Toe Ball games. They made these dungeon modes that were like this whole other game, and that some people just played those. But it went too far to make it like painless.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of trudging through this shit, not finding outfits, and it's so hard to find them. It's kind of a bummer. Like I got really tired of the crypt, and I just got the fuck out.
Well, I think I'm not super into Mortal Kombat, but if I were to play it, I wouldn't find myself spending a whole lot of time in the crypt.
Dude, the crypt
just because of I've seen what you get out of it, and it just seems kind of like I don't know.
See,
it seems like it's not
what
worth it.
really
cool, but
what
you have
really
to spend
sucks,
so much time.
Well,
to
that's what I'm
find
saying.
it.
in the
Yeah.
past couple of games, like the crypt is what. Every time I hear about a new Mortal Kombat, I think about what are they gonna do to the crypt, because that's the mode that I fucking get addicted to. Like, I'm not a fighting game fan or a player. Like, I'm not even very good at it. But if I can play it, get some currency, and then go into that crypt and unlock really cool like concept art and alternate costumes and just
Okay,
that kind of shit's
concept
awesome.
art is one thing. I found fan art in the crypt, like straight up fan art.
Well, I mean, believe it. Was it good fan
It
art?
was titled fan.
Was it good fan art? I mean, because
I've never been one who gives a shit
Is this
about.
like what was it, Game
concept
Informer that
art.
used to have like fans and
they still
like,
have they still
like
have
stuff, and there's like 3-year-olds drawing Sonic.
It looks fine. It's just
Okay.
I don't care if it's official or not official. I don't give a shit.
There's a
Like
lot
if
of
I
it.
can't hang it up on my wall or I. Even then, I
you
kind of
never
don't give a
like
shit.
you never boot up a game just to be like,
Look-
"Ooh, I'm
let's
gonna
look
look
at
at
the
the art
concept.
gallery."
No, it's always the worst. I'm unlocking like music too for
I
the
think
sound gallery.
so. Honestly, I think that's something that's more that would have resonated more in like the '90s when you can't go on the internet and just
Sure.
look at it, and so you're kind of stuck with what's
Dude,
on
I was
there.
also really
But
bummed about Bloodborne in the collector's edition. It said it came with a soundtrack that you could play on your PS4.
Yeah.
I don't
Wait,
want to play it on my PS4.
You can only play it on your PS4.
Yeah, it's on a disc.
digital.
I mean, it's on. It's on.
It's
Wow.
on.
Oh, I mean,
Music.
it's a code. It's a PS4 PlayStation Network
Oh.
code,
Oh, PlayStation.
Can I say one more thing about the story mode?
and they're releasing the full one that you can buy. But like, I bought the collector's edition because I thought I was getting
Yeah,
that.
that's-
I'm gonna say one more thing about the story mode. I'm not gonna say much about the story. That's fine. I know some people like their Mortal Kombat stories. It's pretty silly. And that's good. That's good. It's also it's not just short. It's also kind of easy. I remember really like having a hard time with some of the fights in Mortal Kombat 9. And that's just not the case here. In fact, they don't even have like kind of fight both of these guys with one life bar. All that stuff is gone. It's just they get you get like a dozen characters, and it's like you're gonna do about 4 fights with each of them, and then it's gonna be done.
Dude, and then
That's
they
so
have a bunch of
weird.
characters in the game that you fight that you can't play as.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Like, if
Really?
you have the PC version, this modder, like, was able to mod it where he could play as, like, Rain and Baraka. But
Yeah.
those are characters that you fight in the story mode that are not available.
No,
And their
Rain
movesets are copied
is-
from other characters, aren't they?
I
I think I read that.
Maybe.
Someone made it so that you
I
can
don't
play
know,
as
but
characters. but
Probably.
It's just
Well, what's up?
Rain and like Tanya and stuff. Those characters are gonna be DLC, I believe.
Maybe.
So that's why you can't play.
they're
as
obviously
them.
going heavy on the DLC.
But some of
with
the
this game.
characters like Baraka, they're not like fully Mortal Kombat X-ized. They're just kind of using their movesets from Mortal Kombat 9, and that's why they're not playable, I guess. But I mean, it is frustrating to see a character that seems like fully featured and developed and just not be able to play them because
Yeah.
they're clearly
Because they want to
they're-
sell it to you later.
they're clearly
It's
already
weird,
done.
man. Like I'm gonna play Mortal Kombat a little bit, and this game looks like a pretty polished version of Mortal Kombat, but that character roster leaves a lot to be desired.
That's the other
it's,
thing.
It's nowhere near as good as 9.
Like that-
Like there's a lot of really iconic Mortal Kombat characters that are just missing. That are probably gonna come up as DLC, which fucking
It's
sucks.
because the last game did Mortal Kombat 1 through 3, which is when the series was at its hypest. And now it's all like a bunch of Mortal Kombat 4 characters, and there's occasionally like a Mortal Kombat PS2 trilogy character in there as just kind of like in the story. Like the dude who vomits a lot or whatever, he's like a dude who gets beat up by another character. You don't fight him, he's just there. It's just
Is his name Bulimia?
No,
it's like bok choy or something.
no, it's
Bok choy?
Oh, the fucking Drunken Master guy?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm talking about.
What was that guy?
what was his name? If it's a Mortal Kombat character and you can't remember his name, they have failed because
Bo-Rai
because
Cho.
Bo Rai Cho,
yeah, Bo Rai.
like the most memorable Mortal Kombat characters. I mean, the ones that are super popular that make that franchise so good are the ones that you never forget.
Yes.
Like I can remember every memorable character from fucking Mortal Kombat 1 through 7 if it was good.
You know what's up? Magic Kratos. Whoever the fuck that dude is.
Quan Chi?
God damn.
Quan Chi?
Quan Chi is so lame.
Dude, don't act like
Dude, I was
you've never
whooping
seen
ass.
that character before.
He's been like the
around
past 3
for
or
a
4 of
while.
them.
I didn't play I played hardly any Mortal Kombat post 3.
He was a 9.
Post 1.
He was a 9.
Raiden's cool.
Well, Raiden, of course.
Yeah. Right, Raiden. Sorry.
That's a different character. So I don't know.
But there's a character that's kind of like Ryan.
But he's only cool because he makes the same fucking noise when he dashes.
When he dashes across the screen.
When he dives across the screen or whatever.
I don't care that
if
they
he didn't
include-
make that sound, that character would be fucking lame.
Wait, I just realized something. Shang Tsung is not in this game? I didn't see him on the roster.
Nobody's in there. Well,
Like,
Goro's in there.
fucking
you fight Goro.
Quan Chi
not in the
kinda
story, but
took Shang Tsung's
I
place.
have Goro, less playable character, because I fucking pre-ordered, which fucking sucks.
I fought Goro on a tower.
But like Shang Tsung used to be like synonymous with fucking Mortal Kombat. It was always Kung Lao versus Kung Lao on one end and fucking Shang Tsung on the other, and he was a cool character because everyone was like, oh, he's the character that
Which
can
mean
turn
Liu
into
Kang?
other people.
Kung Lao was in
What
two.
do you mean Liu Kang?
You mean?
Oh yeah, sorry, Liu Kang.
Okay.
My bad.
Like
Kung
in the
Lao,
movie?
Liu Kang.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Quan Chi.
Dude, but like in the last game,
See,
that
Biohunter's response is Shang Tsung is dead because the story said he was dead, and I don't say this very often, but who really cares?
Yeah.
It's Mortal Kombat. You can
No,
summon
they get
people.
around it. They just zombify everyone.
I mean-
the story is so stupid.
I mean,
Dude, they didn't even give him like a proper like second fatality in Mortal Kombat 9. Like one of his fatalities was a reuse of the Joker's like fatality from Mortal Kombat versus
DC.
DC,
Wow.
where like
With
he
the gun?
literally turns into a clown and does his whole like shoots a guy in the head.
Yeah. I did.
That's so
what-
stupid.
I don't. You don't like play as Liu Kang or Kung Lao or Katana. Like you don't like in the story mode. You're playing all these fucking new roster lame ass characters.
What was that? Kota? What's the guy? Looks like the Mind God or whatever.
That guy sucks.
Yeah, he was
I mean, I'm
terrible.
sure there's some pro out there who could do amazing shit with them, but I was so glad when I was finally done with Kotal Khan. Man.
Total
No,
con.
Melina. Okay, so,
You don't play as
in
Melina
chat
either.
says, well, Melina's a playable character in the roster, right?
Yeah.
But
no,
Kat-
she is. She is.
Yeah.
No, I like Melina.
And so is Katana.
Wait, I have footage. I recorded all this footage, and I just realized we're not showing it.
He said a while ago that there was no footage. I'm guessing it wasn't
Did you put it
communicated.
in the folder?
No.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I put my footage in the folder, which is why it was
Well,
up
you
there.
can put the footage in the video. Oh, look, Melina just did that crazy cool thing. Oh man, that's cool.
No, she didn't.
I'm rolling a lot, as you can see, because that's what I do a lot as Melina. I roll.
Oh man, but God, this is such a bummer. I'm gonna play this though. I really am for a little while.
Also,
For a very short while.
Kenshi is so cheap, and so is the blonde dude with the sword is cheap, and then what's his name? The guy who uses his mind. That guy's bullshit too.
Ermac?
Ermac. Fuck
Dude,
both
Ermac.
of those characters.
Ermac's cool.
Ermac is next bang.
Yeah. Are there still environment map? What are they called? Environmental fatalities like the pit. Like the pit was always huge.
I don't think so.
so.
What?
They have
Also,
that-
you don't
they
even
have
like
those
knock
things where
people
you
from
can-
one
Yeah, they
ring
don't
to
have
the other.
stage transitions.
Yeah, stage
like
transition. I
in
really like that in Injustice. I really like that.
Yeah.
And they don't. The only thing they really do are those like environmental interactions where you like grab someone from the crowd behind you.
Yeah,
and throw
which is
them.
weird because they went the extra mile and did that kind of stuff, but then they took out one of the most fucking iconic things about classic Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat 1 was all about like, holy shit, can I figure out how to knock him into the acid bath or how to knock him over the edge into the pit? Like that stuff was crazy. How could they remove that?
That was good.
That makes me
I don't know.
visibly angry.
Because then you could do fatalities that wouldn't require you to pay for easy versions of
That's
them.
true.
But like they were always kind of like secret fatalities that you didn't really even know existed until someone told you, and then it's just
Yeah.
and then it became so like synonymous with the franchise that they put it in every single one. How could they fucking leave that out? Can someone please confirm whether or not it's in the game or not? Because that would kill me. That would kill me.
I don't think
that
so.
would
I would have
automatically
noticed it. I played through the story mode in a bunch of the towers. I feel like at least the AI would have done it to me.
How
at
is
some point.
Sector or Cyrax not a playable character in this game?
Because robots are dumb.
No, they're not.
This is a
They're
serious game for me.
What up? Where is Noob Sabot?
Cool.
Where is Cabal?
Fucking Smoke?
Where is Smoke?
They show him in the game, isn't he?
Chai Tai has just
Oh
confirmed.
no, he's one of the
fears.
faction fatalities. If you're part of the Lin Kuei faction, your faction fatality has to involve smoke somehow.
What?
Yeah. Like he shows up in
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. My fuck you of the week goes to Mortal Kombat 10.
There we go.
Yeah.
Fuck
X,
me,
Mortal
God.
Kombat X.
Yeah.
Damn it. All right, let's move on to something else. Maybe something a little less frustrating, like
Smoke was
like
good
Titan
in 9,
Souls.
too. I liked
That's not frustrating?
Oh, it's frustrating. I've been playing a lot of Titan Souls. Has anybody else here played outside of the demo? I'm guessing no.
Dude,
Nope.
So, I don't.
I'm waiting for one of these guys to buy it.
So, Titan
Nope.
Titan Souls is a very weird. And we talked about this during the demo a little bit, but it's. I can go ahead and confirm this right now. This world in Titan Souls is unnecessarily large.
Yeah, that's
It
what
is-
I figured.
It is literally like a Link to the Past. It's huge, going around all over the place, but there is nothing to do in the world except look around and find a boss room, go into
That
it.
seems like a really missed opportunity.
Yeah,
there.
it totally is. But, I mean, because outside of boss rooms, which I think the bosses in this game are fantastic, but, like, outside of these boss rooms, there really is not... There's nothing... There's the occasional boss room that you know is there, but you have to do something in the environment to open it, which is, like, maybe 1 in 5
Yeah.
that I've encountered so far.
It's padding. It's called padding.
Oh, yeah, it is called padding, but it can take you...
It's bad padding.
It is bad padding. Like, the thing is, like, I feel like they made the world large just so you can have an excuse to hear more of the music, because the music's actually pretty good. So as you're like walking through the world,
I wish there was stuff like maybe puzzles or
Yeah.
even some
I
smaller
found one
enemies.
puzzle, which is like basically just one of those light all these torches to unlock the boss room, and that was about it. But let's talk about the bosses for a second. Like a miracle happened last night, because
You shot this dude in
this
the toe?
weekend I was playing and I fought a boss. I fought a boss 66 times before I beat him.
It's a lot.
Jesus Christ.
And then so I was kind of dreading capturing this footage, because I was like, this is just going to be the same boss over and over and over again. And I ended up, in the course of this 13-minute footage that I recorded, beating 3 bosses that I'd never fought before.
Really?
Yeah.
You
I
get
have
spoiled.
I have no idea how that happened. I mean, that's why I stopped recording.
Well,
Is
just
this
clearly on this boss, all you have to do is shoot his tail when you're on
Yeah,
one of those
it's-
icebergs.
The thing is, so
66.
the hardest thing about this game is half the time you'll go into a boss and you instantly recognize what you got to do.
Yeah, it's just
But
executing it.
Executing it is hard as fuck sometimes. So it's not even just sitting on. So in this boss fight that I'm doing on the screen here, which is essentially an underwater like snake, that he comes out and he jumps up and you're standing on ice blocks and he'll crush the ice blocks while you're on them. Now, obviously, he has a weak spot at the end of his tail, but you can't just try and shoot him in the tail, because the only way you can shoot is while you're on an iceberg.
Yeah.
So the only way to
I would stay in the water.
The only way for him to
Then
come
get
out of the
on
water and then attack him in time before his tail goes back underwater is to be close enough that you can literally jump off of one iceberg while he's in the air and then get onto another one and shoot him before his tail goes underwater.
Yeah.
But they're spaced apart so far, so you literally have to shoot an arrow, and then when you do the thing to pull it towards you, it actually moves them closer together. So you basically have to reposition them. So
That's kind of cool.
So you end up repositioning
Because
the blocks.
you're pulling the arrow, but it's also, since the force
you're-
is pulling the block you're on.
Exactly. So
Oh,
once
you just gave up the secret.
I know, I'm sorry, but you get there are, at first glance, this game is like really one-dimensional, but it's actually quite brilliant in a lot of ways. Like when I realized this, I was like, holy shit! And there's a lot of bosses like that. Then there are bosses you go into a room and there's one boss that I fought like 30 times and I still have no idea how to kill him. I can't figure it out.
With your arrow.
It's always with the arrow. So like, obviously the trick to this game,
Dude,
or
what
the shtick is.
What if there's a boss that you like rolling to kill him or something?
Oh God! See, don't,
Like a
okay.
twist.
Here's where I leave with the. No, not this one. Damn it! Don't worry, guys. I end up beating him.
Sure you do.
Match.
Well, let's
Wait,
move
does he
on.
electrify the water?
He does. If you stay in the water too long, he'll electrify it. So you can't stay in the water too long. So,
There you go.
and the thing is, like, most bosses are really tough, but you can identify their patterns fairly quickly. But they're all very aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
The boss, if anyone's wondering, the boss that took me 66 tries was this fucking abominable snowman, or it's like a yeti dude.
You shoot him in the butt?
You shoot. Yeah, you should. You have to.
I've seen that one.
You have to shoot him in the butt. It is a pain in the dick. 66 tries.
Wait, you're supposed to be shooting with the arrow, not a penis.
Oh, I thought I got it that time. But
I bet it's on the next one, Nick.
what's the worst part about this game? So if you I don't know if you noticed, but whenever you go into a boss room, it does that thing that Zelda does, where you walk into a boss and it shows you, like, it'll say the name of the boss on the screen, but it's always in this like weird made up language, right?
Yeah.
Which is cool. But everything in the game is written in that language, even stuff that should be telling you like instructions. So like this game is does the cross save thing that like Guacamelee did, where you can cross buy played on Vita and PS4. The cross save synchronization stuff, where you have to synchronize your saves, has like a little blurb of like what looks like it should be an explanation. There we go, I got it. Should be an explanation for how the synchronization thing works.
I'm gonna close my eyes.
Was written in this weird fucking language. So I couldn't figure. So I must have done something wrong when I was syncing my saves. I ended up eliminating. I actually played through 6 bosses and then basically eliminated my save data. Had to start all over.
Well, that's
And then one of the bosses that I'd beaten
Nice.
was the Yeti, and it took me like 20 times to beat him the first time, and it was literally because he was off screen, and I was like, oh god! And I just panicked and I fired a shot. Arrow went off screen and it went, and I was like, I hit him in the ass, which is a blind shot across the map. I was like, I'll never pull that off again.
Satisfying or unsatisfying?
Well, that was it was satisfying because I was at that point I was like so frustrated. But then I was like, when I had to start over, I was like, oh god, I have to do the Yeti again, and that's when it took me 66 tries.
Shit.
And then I ended up recording this footage and knocked out 3 in a row. So like I'm really liking the game in the sense that like the bosses are really creative. Like I've beaten.
You don't have to say the bosses. You could just say the game.
Sorry,
Because that's the game.
But like the boss designs, like every boss has their own like trick you gotta figure out, and those are really cool. They're really well done.
They're like Zelda bosses.
They are. This is
except
like
you only have to hit them once instead of 3 times.
but it's always fucking hard. Like its game is punishing as shit.
Well, I think that's the point.
It totally is the point. They're going for that is what they were going for. I think the game the game deserves more than what it is, because it really is kind of a one-trick pony. It's like basically wander across this big land and find all these really cool potential like Zelda-like bosses. Yeah, I realized that the second time.
Is that just like arms popping out of
Yeah, these arms
It almost
pop
seems
out.
like he's giving you like fucking middle fingers.
So-
like every time his arms pop out.
The thing is, every time I fight a boss and I can't figure out what to do, I ended up like sometimes they're really straightforward. Like a ball is rolling around with an eyeball, and you just have to kind of time it. You have to kind of time it right and shoot the arrow right as the eyeball is kind of level with you.
Yeah.
Which, that's pretty straightforward. And then there are bosses like this that I'm fighting right now. This is a snow boss where I was like, I don't know where the weak point is.
It seems like you want to get him to hit himself with his ice beam.
Yes, that is what you have to do.
There you go.
But like, you don't realize it, at first every single time.
Well, that's the thing is like that's one of my issues with this game is I think it's a little too simple. Like, just because I wish there was more. Like, that, just from me looking at it, like, I couldn't see... He was doing the same thing over and over again. So, obviously, you got to get him to do something.
Yeah.
And so my first thought was, I will try and maybe get him to hit himself.
Well, my first thought was maybe the hands themselves are the weak point. So I started shooting that, and then I was like, nope, my arrow bounces right off that, so that can't be it.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was like, okay, maybe you have to make him hit himself.
And so that's my only issue with this game, is it seems like with 20 bosses, it seems like that's just so few.
You'd think, but I've already played this game for about 5 hours, and I've only beaten 8, so like, at the rate I'm going, and I can only imagine they're gonna get harder. And of course, maybe someone who's like really good at something like Dark Souls or has played a lot of maybe retro style games like this might be a little more used to the gameplay style, so they might get through it a lot faster, but I can already see this game taking me, 12, 15 hours to beat. Maybe even more if the bosses get any harder than they already are. But maybe they didn't want to. Maybe they knew their game was pretty hard and they didn't want to push it at first and be like, well, if we keep adding these, maybe no one will beat it. I don't know. But I don't know. I'm so
I would
torn.
like to play this game. I would
too.
not like to know how to beat all the bosses from various podcast discussions, but
Oh, I'm sorry, Brad.
What do you
I'm sorry. I'm spoiling two bosses.
ruining-
I'll tell you one thing. A lot of times you'll know what the fuck you do for a boss, and you still won't.
Yeah,
I
that's
knew
another
how to
thing
beat the
is
Yeti.
knowing what to do doesn't make it easy to do.
I knew how to beat the Yeti from the first time I fought him, and it still took me 66 tries. So, there you go. We can move on though before I spoil the last
But
boss
I'm
for you.
one-shot Brad. Haven't you heard?
Everybody is one
I got
shot. Everybody in
MGS
this
to
game.
sub because he didn't think I could beat that last Bloodborne boss in less than 5 tries or under. I don't know what.
What?
Well, there's a difference between one-shot Brad and under 5 tries, Brad.
Also, the last boss of Bloodborne is fucking asshole.
German?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think.
Whoa!
Yeah, guys. Thanks.
Spoiler.
Maybe I
Is
didn't
it
want to know
though?
the name of the final boss, Brad. You ever think about that?
Is that a spoiler?
I haven't beaten the game yet.
What does that tell you?
That the final boss's name is German?
There's already a character with that name that you encountered.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Hell if I knew.
I didn't know that.
Anyways,
Also, that's not the last boss.
I don't want to
Well,
sound like I'm coming off
maybe
too
if you get the
negative.
bad
It's
ending,
not.
it is.
It's not the true last boss.
Well, there is a true last boss.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't want to say.
And I already
I hope.
know.
I hope nobody thought I was coming off super negative in that game because I think that game
no,
is
no,
really
no,
good.
no. I didn't think you were coming
didn't
off
sound
super
negative
negative
at all.
I
It
did.
sounded like you were really enjoying
I took it really personal.
Yeah.
And I want to
Get out of here, Crispy.
I want to play it as well.
I do recommend it. It's one of the only games I can remember that like I died 66 times in a row and I didn't want to just like smash my
If
console
you want
into
to talk
bits.
about dying a lot, you should play an M++.
The thing is, you revive or you load again like
Why
fairly
did you
quickly.
say that, Nolan? Have you been playing N++?
No, I wish I had.
Kill you.
All right, so
So like how you brought that up.
we have there's a few other small updates. You want to give an update on Senran Kagura?
Nah. I mean, last week I only played it for an hour because I spent another hour doing some amazing dress up. But I'll be playing more of that this week, and so I'll probably want to talk about it more next
Game
week.
ever end?
What,
Not
Senran?
Nolan's book.
Senran Kagura?
Not if you
Yeah.
spend hours and hours.
Did
in
this
the
game
dressing
come out
room.
this year?
No, last year.
Oh man, I was like, that's gonna be at the top of Nolan's
Yeah, well,
top 10 list this year.
That's the thing is they did just release the PS4 Senran Kagura Estival versus whatever
so
it's
that
called.
could very well.
But the thing is, it's not in America. I don't know if it's coming out in America this
Hey,
year.
Nolan.
What's up?
I'm gonna. Is it all right if I ask you a personal, private question?
Sure.
You sure?
Yeah.
You ever get a boner playing?
No, I promise you, I have not.
Okay.
If you see,
Well, then that game sucks.
if you see what I do in the dressing room, which I'll have footage
Oh,
of next
in the-
week,
okay.
then you'll definitely know why it doesn't.
Oh man.
Okay.
Hey, believe it or not, believe
I
it
need
or
another
not,
pillow.
believe it or not, that is not the most personal question that'll be asked of us in this podcast. Spoiler alert.
Will it though?
Oh no! Yeah.
Oh, you're not
he's
gonna
right.
read that?
He's right.
We don't have to.
Oh, well, but we encourage non-gaming related questions.
I
Yeah,
guess so.
this is what we get when we encourage non-gaming related questions in Patreon. All right.
Well, never mind. Yeah, that's fine.
So I'll just give my little Bloodborne update because I'm moving right along. Thank you, Brad, for your recommendation. I was having a really hard time with Amelia in that game, and then Brad and Crispy were both like, go do Himwick and then come back, and I was like, oh, I never really thought of that. Went and did Himwick, beat the witches on my second try, and then I came back, fought Amelia, and I just wiped the floor with her, just destroyed her. And I was like, holy crap. So thank you for that.
So I've been playing Bloodborne as well. I beat the game last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing chalice dungeons, and they can be frustrating as shit.
I bet.
Because so like Brad was saying, if you wait until you beat the game to do the chalice dungeons, the first several are really
Where do you
easy.
even access these challenges?
In the Hunter's Dream?
Uh-huh.
Those
altars?
those altars that aren't the ones that you use to transport
Yeah.
to ever look at the other side. That's where you go. You place a chalice on there, and then that essentially creates a dungeon. that
See,
you
I learn new things every day. I had no
Every
idea.
hunter
So
should
Nick-
be familiar with the old god's tombs beneath Yharnam.
So I would suggest the next time you play, instead of playing the game, go do the first chalice dungeon. It's not going to be
It's
that
really
difficult from where you are in the game. It probably will be kind of maybe even a little bit easier than the main game. But that will give you some insight. And so there are some good things in there, a few things. The main place you get the good items is from the root chalice dungeons, which are the truly randomly generated. That's what I was talking to with Brad earlier. Is all of the basic chalice dungeons, they're not randomly generated. They're all the exact same.
Yeah.
Everyone has the same one. As you play them, you'll unlock new chalice dungeons, which will then be the randomly generated ones, which you can get like unique weapons or blood rocks and bloodstone chunks and stuff like that to upgrade your weapons and whatever.
Yeah.
But I've just been having a really frustrating time with a few of them. Like, just some of the bosses are like really fucking difficult.
That does not surprise me.
It's just weird, just because like I'll go through and there'll be one boss that I just wipe the floor with, and then the next one I just like 30 times.
You know, that's the main reason that I didn't want to bother, because it really did sound like that the main driving force for getting through these dungeons is to kind of see all these other bosses. Mm-hmm. But man, I don't like bosses in this series, so like that was not like a light at the end of the tunnel. It's like just something I didn't want to do.
Yeah. There's this one guy, this fucking hulking beast guy. That's like all he does is like punch pretty much, but he just kind of like walks around all fucking broad-shouldered and like just swipes at you. And if you go to heal, he'll lunge and attack. Like he waits for you to heal.
What a bitch.
He's really frustrating.
I have one simple question.
What's up?
Because some of y'all have beaten the game, so I just finished beating Amelia. Where on the spectrum of that game am I? Am I like
halfway?
Halfway. I had kind of a feeling part of that game changes.
It depends on how much optional stuff you do. I would say
the thing is the line between optional and non-optional is really blurred in this game. Like,
okay, well, non-optional, you're definitely halfway.
Okay.
Is it really?
The thing is,
if he does no optional stuff, yeah, but like, there's a lot of.
How do you identify what's optional and what's not?
Stacked,
There's so much stuff. There's so many things that you just do.
So yeah, that you don't know until you do it.
I mean, I've probably done a lot of stuff that's optional and just didn't know it.
Yeah. I mean, the cleric beast, that was optional. The witches of Himwick was optional. The Bloodstar beast optional.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the cathedral ward, upper cathedral ward. That area is optional.
I mean,
are there any additional areas that break off of the Hemwick area? Because that seemed to me like
that's
just straight.
You'll go back there for Canehurst.
Canehurst, yeah.
It's not really attached to that area.
Yeah.
I was just curious. We don't need to spend any more time. We talked about Bloodborne a lot on this podcast, so let's go ahead and take a break. I think that's in record time. We're gonna come back and we'll do. I think we're gonna have some kind of Star Wars discussion, right?
We'll talk about what little is in the news.
Before we go,
I
would just like to say I also finished Axiom Verge, and by finished I mean I got one ending. That game is even more Fez than Fez. There's a lot of hidden secret shit in that game that I finished that game with like 80% of the items and 5% of the map, and there is so much secret shit that I have no idea. I have like an inventory full of notes that I can't even read because they're all encrypted. There's like a bunch of weapons I didn't find. I mean,
do you need some more Albed primers?
Yeah, kind of. Kind of. So I think I might go back into that game and see what's up. I really did like it, and I've been playing more Pillars. But yeah, that's all.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll be back in a second.
Yeah.
Are we going to open by talking about how... Let's talk about Doom and how bad it is.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just kidding. I really don't know where to start this second.
With the news.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Did something happen?
Yeah.
News, guys. News. Video game news.
What is the news?
Hey! Before we start this inevitable Star Wars circle jerk here, I would like to talk about Alan Wake because it's in my top 10 games of all time.
You would.
I would. Mm-hmm. I would like to talk about Alan Wake.
In your top 10 games of all time.
It is in my top 10 games of all time.
It is, right?
And every time
that is what started this conversation.
And every time someone brings it up, it moves higher on my list.
That makes sense.
No, it doesn't. It would already be at number 1 long ago.
Well, before we start the circle jerk, can I open with my very short news topic?
Well, I just started opening with a news topic, you son of a bitch.
But you started talking about something else.
I wanted to talk about Alan Wake 2.
Oh, okay.
Well, more specifically,
The lack thereof.
Sam Lake and Remedy did an interview this week with Polygon, where they talked at length about Alan Wake. They talked about their plans, what they had initially planned for Alan Wake 2, and they even went as far as to release a prototype of Alan Wake 2 running in the Alan Wake 1 engine. Brad, what was that?
I was howling.
He was howling.
Was that the GIF?
Yes.
Oh, he was howling. Gotcha.
No, not the GIF. It was Manti.
So, did anybody else here watch the footage of Alan Wake 2?
I did not see it.
So this footage was more of a
Concept.
well, yeah, it was running an Alan Wake 1 engine. It looked straight up like Alan Wake 1, but they had added some additional details and features and what that weren't exactly included in Alan Wake 1. But like they eventually had scrapped the project because it's at some point they finished Alan Wake 1. They were getting ready to move on to their next project. They did a meeting with Microsoft. Microsoft convinced them to work on a new IP, and they, even as a studio, they said, maybe we don't want to do a disservice to Alan Wake. We're not really ready to go back to Alan Wake so fast, and that's how they ended up working on Quantum Break. There might be more details to that story. Who knows? But this prototype they released looked pretty cool.
So what about it was different than Alan Wake?
Well, one of
Two
the
flashlights. That'd be cool. Like Devil May Cry 2, he's like
dual wielding flashlight.
the flashlight actually works like a lightsaber.
He's got
would be cool.
flashlight katas where he's like shining the light and smacking other dudes with the other flashlight.
One of the things that stood out to me that I liked about it a lot was like the enemies felt way more organic in the way they kind of emerge from the environment and like they interact with the environment, and like there was a lot of like shooting dudes and they'd fall on the hood of cars, or they would come out of random spots and like they would interact with there was one point where one of the dudes like threw an axe and like he dodged out of the way and the axe like stuck into the car behind him, and like there was a lot of little details like that where he was interacting. The enemies themselves were interacting with the environment, not just the player, which looked pretty cool. And then at one point there was like literally like 30 or 40 dudes on screen, and he ended up like shooting a truck that had all these like
Propane tanks
on or whatever, and a like huge explode. There's a lot of little details that kind of that made the combat look way more fluid. The thing is, what was kind of disappointing about it is they talked about how when they scrapped that project, like a lot of those like little tiny glimpses of things they had planned for Alan Wake 2 ended up in American Nightmare, which I didn't have nearly as favorable an opinion on as Alan Wake proper, because I don't know, like the game felt way more out there than Alan Wake 1, and it didn't feel as cohesive, and it was also DLC. It was much shorter than Alan Wake 1, but I don't know. So they ended up scrapping that, and they moved on to Quantum.
Wait, American
Break.
Nightmare was not DLC. There was actual DLC.
No, I mean not
for Alan Wake.
DLC, but it was it was like a $15 downloadable title. It was smaller in scope. It wasn't even really.
It was a bite size.
Like when you started the game, that whole game was like one map, and you were kind of the story was progressing as you were moving around that big open map instead of
multiple areas,
Yeah.
and different locations and stuff.
Exactly. But Brad, you had said something to me before the show about Alan Wake 2, and you had some skepticism as far as.
Oh, well, I was just. I mean, I don't know. I think the reason they moved on to Quantum Break is because Alan Wake's not a big money maker like maybe Microsoft was hoping, and it's. I don't know.
I mean, there is another part of the news related to Alan Wake is they are currently talking about the possibility of releasing Alan Wake 1 on Xbox One, which, I don't think they'd be having those conversations if they weren't having serious talks about doing an Alan Wake 2. And you had talked too, because when Alan Wake 1 had come out, it came out the same day as Red Dead Redemption, which obviously, from a publisher standpoint, looking at that and seeing like the two, like that was, obviously Red Dead Redemption blew it out of the water. There's got to be some skepticism there on the publisher's end as to whether or not it's worth moving forward on a sequel. Not to mention, like, how long was Alan Wake 1 in development?
I have no idea.
Like 6 years, 7 years.
A long
Jesus.
time.
I feel like even though that was like, successful, quote unquote. I feel like maybe there was some hesitancy there because I don't even, who knows if they actually recouped the cost of developing a game for 7 years with that money they made. I don't know, but it's exciting because Alan Wake is being talked about a lot. In fact, the past 2 days it's come up quite a few times from various outlets.
Which is weird because
they're being pretty outspoken about it.
Like they just pushed back Quantum Break.
Yeah, we're still a year away from Quantum Break. That game doesn't even come out till 2016. So like, I'm really happy that they're talking about it again, but at the same time, like, I'm sad inside because I want another Alan Wake, but you know, we're obviously gonna have to wait until they finish Quantum Break, and then from there, who knows how long Alan Wake 2 would take.
I don't know.
Who the fuck knows?
Well, I have a short.
You had a short news topic, Brad. Go for it.
It could definitely be a what the fuck you of the week, but just go ahead and make it my news topic because, yeah.
There's plenty of fuck yous to go around.
You know what came out today?
I have no idea.
Is it today? Or, okay.
Today.
Trine 3
Really?
on early access.
Why is Trine 3 on early access?
It's a little weird.
Yeah, that is.
One early, like Trine is like a game that you has a beginning and has an end, and you play through it.
Yep.
There's levels, and you know the game's finished, which is already a weird game for early access. Then you factor in the fact that there was already like 2 previous games in that series that were like, you know, moderately successful also.
True.
That didn't get released like this. It's like, what?
Well, I mean, they came out before early access was a thing.
Well, sure, but like, what is happening here? Unless there's something I'm missing out on. I mean, unless there's something I'm seriously missing here of like Trine 3 being a significantly different type of game. I mean, I know it's 3D.
So
but what the fuck?
Is the early access just like a small portion of the game?
Apparently.
So then I've seen a lot. I mean, not a whole lot, but I understand. I guess a developer wanting to put out their game at least a little bit early. To one, it's free QA. Well, it's people paying you to QA their games, and then it's money up front.
I feel like
you get the money early.
It's becoming so prominent though. Like,
I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying that's why they're doing it.
I get it.
In 2 years, who's to say how? Like, where's the line for what game qualifies for something that
you
would be?
were gonna start seeing AAA.
That's what I'm worried about.
Games.
What if the next Call of Duty comes out in early access?
A lot of times, I mean, think of like Evolve. I mean, I know it's a multiplayer, it's not a single player game, but they definitely have early access. Like,
but that was
weekends.
wasn't that. But that was a beta.
That was an alpha and a beta they did.
It wasn't really
They
early
did
access.
alpha and beta
That's the thing.
weekends.
Trine is a single player level based story game.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you buy into it early access, I doubt. I mean, you're not going to be getting the same experience because it's a level based, story driven game. So if you want to actually play the game, you have to play the full release, as opposed to something like Evolve, where I played like 20 hours of it in the alpha and beta, and then when the full game came out, I was like, I'm done.
They're called demos. Yeah. Now they're charging all for the demo, and they're going to say, oh my god, early access really kind of kills the hype train for a game.
No, it definitely does. It definitely does. I agree with that. And
it's
that's
shitty.
One of the things is I've been almost a lot of the time, sometimes they're like, oh, early access into this game, and I'm like, that kind of looks like a game I'd want to play, so I don't want to play it early access because I'd rather wait for it to come out.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times, like when I play games early access, by the time they come out, I don't really care about them as much. So yeah, no, I see what you're saying, but like I said, I see where developers or publishers probably more are coming from, and that it's free QA, it's free people testing their game, and then getting more money up front or to help work on the project as it's going.
I don't even think it's about testing for like some of these people.
Well, I'm not saying that's what it's about. I'm just saying that
it's a money grab.
It's definitely a money grab. But I'm saying on a side note, they do get free QA on their games. I mean, it's not going to be the same as paying someone to play test it. But I mean, the game's probably going to send like crash reports and stuff like that for when things break and go wrong, and they'll be able to figure out why.
Yesterday, I finished Axiom Verge, and then I finished Bloodborne, and I'm like, well, what the fuck am I going to play now? You guys don't watch Pillars right now. So I booted up Apotheon. I was like, oh yeah, Apotheon. It's all patched and fixed now. Like, I played for 10 minutes, and it crashed to dashboard. So I was like, fuck this game.
It's another one of those games, man.
God damn it, man.
Like, I really, really, really want to fucking finish White Knight. I was really liking that game. they still, first of all, they have not only have they not patched that game breaking bug that I came across, which made me had to reload a save that was 3 hours earlier than where I was.
Sucks.
But I tweeted at them and I said, when are y'all going to patch that problem? And they basically tweeted back at me and said, we don't really have any plans to do that. Here's a link to a YouTube video with a workaround. And that workaround I've looked at, and it doesn't apply in my situation. Because they basically told me I had to basically wander off the camera, because the camera, the camera's locked in one position, doesn't follow you. They basically said, walk until it loads you into a new area. Where I froze, I can't do that because I was in a room that's like it's a story progression thing. You can't do it until you solve this puzzle. So I literally can't do that
another
workaround.
scene to walk into.
So I was like, what a fucking shitty like.
I mean, coming from a software development standpoint, I guess I can see if maybe only 2% of the users affected by that, why it might not be worth the time or money to fix.
I have a feeling it's more than 2%.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
And I also don't know what the problem is and how difficult it is to fix it.
Sure, it's just one of those things. Like he didn't like his response was we're not planning on fixing it. That was pretty much his response, and I was like,
oh, sorry, bro.
Like it couldn't. Maybe a little more explanation as to why, or something a little more comforting. Like it probably won't happen again.
Yeah.
Like at this point, I kind of want to sit down and play it again, but like I don't want to get 3 hours down the road and have it happen again.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just do it again and I won't save in that room.
Yeah.
I'll just avoid saving. But I'll probably just forget. I'll get nervous and I'll forget and then I'll save. I'll be like, fuck, I should have done that.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's talk about Star Wars.
That's a thing.
That's a thing. Star Wars Celebration was this past weekend in Anaheim.
Star Wars.
Shut your mouth, Crispy.
Yeah.
A lot of big stuff happened this weekend that's Star Wars related. I don't know how much time you want to spend talking about the non-game related stuff. There was
a little bit.
Brad's already starting to giggle. I can't even imagine why.
When I was visiting my parents, we watched the Star Wars movies. We were having a conversation about the new Star Wars, and my mom started talking about Star Trek. She was so confused. I mean, she was definitely talking like partly about Star Wars. Like she understood she's seen those movies before. She knows what Star Wars is.
Yeah.
But she brought like Spock into the mix.
She was playing a little too highbrow. She didn't read the room.
Suddenly you're like, I don't recognize what she's talking about. Suddenly she starts talking about Spock, and you're like, oh, I see what's happening here.
That's what happened. Which I thought was.
So, anyways, that Star Wars Celebration event looked like it was actually a lot of fun. Yep. A lot of cool stuff came out of that event. Of course, they opened the weekend with a new teaser trailer for The Force Awakens, which has, for the most part, had some pretty positive responses. Yeah. Me being one, I was really blown away by it. Some people are kind of lukewarm on it.
The fucking opening scene on Jakku, which I learned about this weekend because I had no idea what Jakku was before.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the planet you get for pre-ordering Battlefront.
Oh my God!
Are they already really talking about this shit?
Yes,
yes, that's the planet
Battle of
you get
Jakku
for pre-ordering Battlefront.
How about Hoth? How about you let Hoth be the one that you have to pre-order to play?
And so when they opened that the scene, I thought it was Tatooine.
Everyone did.
Yeah. In fact, well, not everyone. Clearly, the Star Wars nerds.
Well, no. I mean, Jakku. I'm pretty sure Jakku's an original planet for this movie.
Because I heard people talking about it afterwards.
That's not a real planet.
The thing is, I ended up watching that whole press conference at the beginning where they rolled the trailer at the end.
Yeah.
And they brought the whole cast out and everything. They were answering questions, and J.J. Abrams was talking, and he was like, "That is actually." He was talking about how they had seen shots from previous trailers went on. He's like, that's actually not Tatooine. That's a planet called Jakku. And that's where people was like, oh,
it's the other desert planet.
Desert planet.
Yeah, one of the.
This one has 3 suns.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's just that opening scene where you see like that some sort of vehicle. I'm assuming it's the one from the other trailers where what's her name? I can't remember.
Ray
it's probably
is driving on that vehicle.
Speeder.
Yeah, the speeder bike of sorts. And she's just driving across, and you see this desert planet, and you see like a crumpled X-wing kind of just like hanging out, and you're like, oh, that's cool. And then just a giant fucking. I thought it
was like a dune.
Yeah, at first I thought it was like a mountain or a dune or something, but then I realized it was just a decrepit Star Destroyer in the background.
By the way, the DLC that you mentioned in the Battle of Jakku is free DLC.
Okay, whatever.
But it's post-release. I think it's post-release free DLC, but if you pre-order, you get it early. That's what it is. Which is not quite as egregious, but still, what the fuck?
Yeah, so that trailer, it looks pretty good.
It does. It does. It looks. It captures.
It's a teaser, so it doesn't show a whole lot. And like Brad was saying, it's a lot of quick shots.
It gets me excited.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that's the point.
It captured. Honestly, I think it captured the tone of Star Wars way better than anything they ever showed for the new trilogy did. Like, some of the trailers for the new trilogy were good. I'll give them that, but like, the tone was different. You could tell right from the get go.
You know what? You know what I really appreciated about this trailer? The lack of lightsabers.
Yeah, that's
There was only one.
I know.
Well,
like,
one that was lit.
It sounds weird, but like I'm so fucking sick of like Jedi and Sith and lightsabers and
Well-
stuff. And I know that's still going to be like a pretty big focus, but it's like
will it though?
it's not like
Yeah, it will.
I don't.
Well,
I don't.
I mean-
not as. I mean,
It's called the Force
I think
Awakens.
one of them is like becoming a Jedi.
So,
or
so
some
yeah.
shit,
So
but-
I think it's the Force Awakens. I realize,
Yeah.
but that was the whole thing. So I think I don't agree. But the episodes 1, 2, and 3 had shit tons of lightsabers because there were shit tons of Jedi.
Yeah.
And then post that event, less Jedi. There's only a few, so less lightsabers. And that was what was cool.
You're back
about
to the point where like Jedis are like actually special. Like,
well, yeah. So episodes 4, 5, and 6, there was only 4 lightsaber total in like the whole thing.
Yeah.
But that was cool though because they were so rare, and when they came out,
When there was a
like,
lightsaber battle,
shit,
you're like, fuck.
shit's going down.
It was like when
wasn't
fucking
every other
Luke had a
scene.
green one in Jedi.
Yeah,
Like, oh,
yeah. You turn it on, it's like that fucking electric green. You're like,
Yeah.
whoa, he
Yeah.
got a new lightsaber.
Yeah.
Oh, because he lost his other one because he got his handgun.
and so hopefully in this one, they are still few and far between.
I have a feeling they will be. I will say
It
this.
was interesting the one shot where there was a person handing a lightsaber to who we assume is Leia.
Actually, I think that's Leia handing a lightsaber to
No,
another
it was
female
like
character.
this tiny little hand,
Yeah, that was
like
like a-
taking a lightsaber, and then like Leia's hands are taking it, and that's at the moment in
How
the
did you
trailer
know
where
they
he's
were
saying,
Leia's
"My
hands?"
sister had."
Because
The
when Luke
voiceover.
was doing the voiceover, he says, "I have it," and it shows a robot hand on R2.
Yeah.
My sister has it, and
right.
it shows a female hand taking a lightsaber.
handing Luke's old lightsaber, which apparently that lightsaber that he lost in Empire is supposed to be like the kind of like catalyst for the whole plot. Like somebody finds it, and that's what starts this whole quest to like find Luke and everything.
Isn't that
Someone
Anakin's
reverse
old
engineers it,
lightsaber
maybe.
though?
huh?
Isn't that Anakin's old?
That was
lightsaber?
Anakin's lightsaber. Yeah, yeah.
Why do y'all know so much about it?
I've been
'Cause
following
it's
this
in
shit
the
for a
fucking
while.
movie. Well, hold on, calm down, killer. In Episode 4, Obi-Wan gives Luke Anakin's old lightsaber.
No, I'm talking about you're saying the motivation for.
Oh, I don't know. He read that somewhere.
I've been following-
all the movie sites I follow have been talking about that for a
Yeah.
while.
Do you think maybe like some bad dude reverse engineers it or something, and that's
It's
would
possible,
explain the
Yeah.
fucked up lightsaber?
The
for
Riley
first
Ken-
time?
I will also point out.
What is his name? Rilo?
I have no idea.
I will point out that at another interesting tidbit that came out of Star Wars Celebration this week was they had like glass displays that had like character concept art and like
costumes
outfit
and
costumes and stuff. And there was a concept art of one of the main characters, the guy you commonly see in the Stormtrooper outfit.
Oh, what's his name?
God, I can't remember his name all of a sudden. But
I don't know enough about these
you
characters
see
yet.
you see concept art of his character, but there is that you can see a lightsaber hilt on his belt.
Yeah.
So there's as right now there's like question as to whether or not he's at maybe a Jedi or maybe he's
Well,
a
there- that-
stormtrooper.
that-
Maybe
that's
he's
always-
the one who finds the lightsaber.
That's always
Maybe he
been
is.
kind of a thing since the first trailer, besides his incessant panting, is that he's seen in both stormtrooper garb and not.
Yeah.
And in previous films, 4, 5, and 6 or whatever, or even 4, they disguise themselves as stormtroopers to kind of
Yeah.
make some. And so the question is he disguising himself as
Finn,
one, or is
thank you.
yeah, Finn,
Finn,
or is he a stormtrooper that turns rebel?
I think it'd be cool if he was a stormtrooper that defects.
Yeah.
And
That's what I'm hoping.
and the funny thing is, though, is during that Star Wars Celebration, they straight up asked him, like, "Are you a stormtrooper?" And he kind of gave this little nod.
He looked over
and
at
then
J.J. Abrams, and he was like-
hits him for saying he is a stormtrooper.
That happened during the opening press conference, and he asked him, and he looks at JJ, and JJ like doesn't really do anything. He just kind of like looks at him, and then he just kind of like nods, and then JJ did this like playful like like hit him. I think that was planned.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Because he gave him like a 10-second head start where JJ could have been like, no, don't say anything.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
Eh.
Anyways,
He isn't a stormtrooper.
this is a video game podcast. So, of course, one of the other big things to come out of this was the first time anyone has seen Star Wars Battlefront in action.
Yeah.
We have not seen this yet. We've only seen the cinematic trailer. I am going to assume that it will be shown and, if not playable, at E3.
Probably.
So we'll try and get our hands on that. But for now, all we really have to go on is what we've read from press descriptions of the 8-minute demonstration. And from the highly cinematic, but apparently an engine trailer that they showed, which was impressive.
It did look pretty good. I liked. I mean, they were on Indoor.
Yeah, that was Endor.
Okay.
Actually, it was the Forest Moon of Endor.
Oh, I'm sorry. Forest Moon of Endor.
No,
you son of a
he
bitch.
is correct. He is correct.
He is correct.
It is
You
the
highbrow
Forest
son
Moon
of a
Endor.
bitch.
No, he is correct. And you know, the speeder bikes, which I always
I'm only
fucking
mad because I was
loved.
ashamed I didn't catch that.
Yeah. Well, me as well.
What is indoor like?
No one knows.
No one knows.
Endor's a gas giant.
Hey, you know what? You know what's funny though? They've been calling it indoor. I don't think
Nobody gives a shit.
Because just a lot.
Do you know
That's what
how
everyone.
expensive it is to type out the Forest Moon of Endor every time you want a menu screen or something?
And so you know, you had the rebels fighting against the stormtroopers, and some really cool like scenes, at least in that trailer, of them throwing down the shield and the guy fucking jumping out with a jetpack and like a rocket
Yeah, a lot
launcher.
of cool gameplay implications.
Yeah, dude, and you could be one of those weird dudes.
What?
Oh, the dude with the
Oh yeah, the frog face guy.
frog face dudes.
They like never talk. They're just like. Like in the
What was
movie.
that guy's name?
He had a
Nean,
name.
it was like Nean Nub or something.
So yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And he's with Lando and the Falcon, and he's talking, and Lando's like, I know, I can see him.
And I was like, where the fuck did you come from?
One of my fondest memories of that guy is when they use a Star Wars trading card to resurrect him in Venture Brothers. And in Venture Brothers, they resurrect that guy, and he's just like he can't talk, and so they're like, "What the fuck did we do?" They like bring him to life. It's pretty funny, but no, yeah. And so that fight scene, they destroy an ATST.
AT-AT. Oh,
ATST.
They were both.
Yeah, they were both.
they were both
both
the
there.
trailer.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one.
The AT-AT was the one that the Y-wings blow up.
Oh, you're right.
And
It's so fucking like, of course.
What?
Of course, there's speeder bikes and indoor.
oh, of course, they wanna show off
and
all the shit.
AT-ATs and Hoth.
It's so contrived.
It is. It fucking is. But
Like,
but
why
I'm
would all the-
watching this trailer and I'm like, I've seen this so many times before.
Yeah.
But now it's being made by the people who make Battlefield.
Yeah.
And that's exciting.
It is.
It is fucking exciting.
No, Brad, you do have a point. I mean, why would an AT-AT be on the
so-
Forest Moon of Endor? Like, it doesn't make any sense. That would not be maneuverable in a forest environment.
Of course not.
So an AT-ST makes more sense. But yes, they
That's
wanted to
not
show
what
off
I
all
Why
the
do we
shit.
drive so fast through this forest? It's so dangerous.
A speeder bike in a forest is also a
But
bad
so that
idea.
that brings up my question: is it like I was wondering, are there going to be like Y-wings that are interacting with foot soldiers?
I don't. Well,
They had the
They
bombers.
said-
You can get in like ships and
you
stuff.
can fly
right?
ships. It's
Yeah.
just you can't go into space.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So
But,
what if you
yeah.
point your Y-wing up?
You just hit a
Well,
wall.
yeah, I'm
hit
sure
a-
there's an
hit a wall
invisible wall.
Or there's
Or
like
your- or
their
your-
shield is still active, Rogue 2.
your Y-wing stalls out or something.
Yeah.
Are they
Why
going to
would
invent
that
any new
happen?
ships? I mean,
Why
I
would that
know
happen?
A-wings, X-wings, Y-wings.
A-wings, B-wings.
Are there B-wings? No, there's
Yeah,
already an
B-wings were the fucking cross-shaped ones. From
B-wings are the
Jedi.
weird ones you don't see very often.
They have the gyroscopic cockpits.
Yeah.
Those are really cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I will say, so I am very excited about this. I think they are. There's a couple things. First of all, like detail-wise, we know there's not really a single-player campaign. There are single-player missions you can do with AI, but it's mostly a multiplayer game, which is kind of a bummer for me. But at the same time, I know I'm gonna just play the shit out of this.
I like
Nope, sorry, Chris.
I like-
Advance aren't canon anymore.
the Patrick U wings.
Ah, I hate you.
No.
There's no space combat. They are
Yeah.
focused solely on ground combat, which is I kind of understand why they're doing that. It's kind of a bummer, but at the same time, you know,
like-
they are limited. They
if
are
this-
limited by certain things.
Let them make a good Battlefield, Battlefront game
Sure.
Exactly.
first.
If
Let them
this
do
is
what
really
they're.
popular,
yeah.
which it will be, and they make a sequel,
Which
there's
they
no
will.
way that game can't have space
and
combat.
it will.
right?
It will. It will.
And there might even be space combat DLC.
Yeah.
Third thing, I'm a little worried, guys.
What?
Battlefield 4 was a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
Now Battlefield Hardline has had a smoother ride since launch, so I'm hoping that maybe I think the stakes are probably inherently a little bit higher with Star Wars than they ever were with
only
Battlefield.
slightly.
I hope they know they can't release this game and have it be shit, or no one's ever gonna trust them again.
It's EA. What are you talking about? We always go back.
Yeah.
We
that's the
always go
problem.
back.
Oh yeah. That's why. Okay.
What are you talking about? They're like, we have to get this right, guys, or else people are never going to buy any of our games again. Oh, wait, we're EA. Who cares?
No, I think it's more about DICE specifically.
They don't give a fuck.
Well, I'm sure they give a fuck.
I think
I'm sure they
Nick
do,
wants
but-
them to give a fuck, definitely.
I mean,
they're
of course,
like-
okay,
Yeah.
of course they give a fuck. Like, they're obviously making a pretty crazy looking game.
Yeah.
And in order to make that game, especially and have it look the way it looks now, you have to have a certain reverence for the franchise. They have confirmed there's no fucking like Jar Jar Binks in this game. Like, this is pretty much
I was thinking
entirely-
about it, and I was like, maybe in the game / movie, what if you see like, what
Naboo?
Nabooian? What do you call the people from Naboo?
Gungans.
Gungans. Thank you. I couldn't remember.
Nabooians.
Yeah.
Nabooans.
What if you see like a Gungan skull like in the
Nabooites.
background? Or like a guy
We would
just like
all-
steps on
We
it.
can only be, or maybe they reveal later that the first planet they tested the Death Star on was Naboo.
That would be nice. I'm pretty sure.
It's fine.
They made sure all the Gungans in the universe were back home.
Can you
'Cause
be
it was
one of
some
them
big Gungan
racist-
holiday?
Can you be one of them racist dudes from the Trade Federation or whatever?
Oh yeah.
What if you could be those
Wait,
guys?
they were racists?
I'm pretty sure.
No, well,
Oh, they were
probably.
racist caricatures.
I'm pretty sure the Death Star was first used on Alderaan.
I
The
know.
Nemoidians?
Yeah.
Well,
Is
that's
that
the
what
first
they're
time we saw
called?
it used.
Yes,
but-
that's
No, that
what
was a
they're
test.
called.
They even mentioned this as like a first test of
Yeah.
the. Yeah.
well,
How do you know that?
they could retcon that.
Who? Who? Why does who know what?
Why does Crispy know the names of those dudes?
Of the Trade Federation, guys?
Wait, what did you say?
Nemoidians?
Oh,
I mean,
if you, I probably could have told you that too if you give me like 10 minutes to really dig into my brain.
but like did you study that? Did you get your friends to write up a quiz?
well,
and quiz
Crispy
you?
has like an encyclopedia like knowledge of like most pop
I
culture.
just go by
He memorizes scripts.
fiction encyclopedias.
His brain is like 98% like scripts,
Pop culture
pop
references.
culture references.
I have no real personality of my own. This is me.
I'll tell you what though, one of the most exciting things coming out of the celebration for me was they announced that they're going to be releasing a 20-book series all on the same day in September. That's basically called The Path to the Force Awakens.
the same day.
Same day.
It's not like
What is this,
it's-
Netflix?
It's not like a linear series though, right? It's just 20 different books that's
I
setting
don't
up
know.
a bunch of
They didn't
different
really.
stuff,
I don't
right?
think they get into
Wait,
too
so
much
you're just
detail.
gonna walk
just
out of
like-
a store with like a stack of books?
Fuck
Like
yes!
the box set.
Hey,
Big box of books.
I'm a huge Star Wars book nerd. I used to love reading Star Wars books, and I haven't been excited about Star Wars in a very long time. So I can see myself walking into a store
What they
and
should
walking
do?
out with 20
What
books.
they should do is have
Nick
20
went through-
stores, each have one of the book.
Young Jedi
I will.
Knights.
And they make
You.
like 3 of them.
You.
I don't understand the point of that though.
Well-
Is that the way you maximize profit? Release 20 books at once?
Well, no, they only have like a 3-month window between that, or a 2-month window between that and when the movie comes out. And for people who really want to dive into it and get all the backstory, you can.
I'm sure those
start
are all
reading.
written with the utmost quality in mind. They found 20 random authors.
They weren't
No,
just-
well, dude, they have a whole slew
And they just
of
put out-
established Star Wars authors. Hopefully, Timothy Zahn wrote some of them.
they
That'd be
just
nice.
put out the call.
Hopefully Steve Zahn wrote some of them.
Wait,
Dude's funny.
so Disney
Yeah.
owns Star Wars.
Yes,
Yeah.
they do.
Are you gonna see like fucking Mickey Mouse somewhere?
Are they gonna hide Mickey's?
No, I
Mickey,
think
is
because
Mickey
they
always.
hide Mickey in every single movie.
Yeah,
they
like
do.
all the Disney movies, like Mickey's like.
Yeah,
hidden
it's
somewhere.
gonna be like, oh, in that asteroid field, 2 asteroids touched this other asteroid, and it was a Mickey for half a second.
There's gonna be like that one weird.
And then
looking-
there's like a little R2D2 floating next to the Enterprise. Oh wait.
There's gonna be like one like really awkward stormtrooper that has like their own custom helmet that looks like really creepy because it looks just like Mickey Mouse. Or
What if
something.
they do another like
I almost think
Senate
it's like
scene,
Dead
and
Mouse.
instead of having like the ET aliens, they just have a bunch of like mouse people?
So one of the things that came out of the Star Wars celebration that I really liked, I guess moving away from the game and back to the movie, is that the new R2D2 is actually like, what is he called?
BB-8?
Yeah,
BB-8
BB-8 is actually real. It's not
No,
like CG.
Dude,
like, that was
they
pretty
fucking
cool.
rolled him out on stage and everything.
Yeah.
Like, well, not they didn't roll him out. He was a fucking robot.
Yeah.
That he
Rolled.
drove out on stage.
They
It
were
was like his head was spinning and he was like making noises.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
It was really cool.
That's one of the things I like about where J.J. Abrams is taking this is the practical effects.
Yes, he is.
There's a lot of
from the very
practical
beginning.
effects.
He's been very insistent on doing as many practical effects as he can, and you know it's cool to see that in conjunction with some pretty awesome looking CG at the same time. Like it looks like they're actually striking a pretty good balance.
Yeah.
this time, which is nice.
Is there anything else in the news?
No, that's all I've been thinking about for like a week now, to be totally honest.
I hope you can trip the AT-ATs with the tow cables.
Right?
Well, you better be able to.
I
That was
hope
in
that's
fucking
the
Shadows of
only
the
way you can kill them.
That was in Shadows of the Empire. If they can't pull that off nowadays, that would be weird.
Has DICE ever
That
made
was
it?
in every Star Wars game where you could fly a snowspeeder.
That's true.
Can you command like troops of Ewoks and just send them to their death? Go Ewoks, go!
Quick, set up one of those clever little log traps you guys use.
Oh shit.
That'd be good.
Also, I think I want to look into maybe doing a community night this month or something with Battlefront 2, but we have to probably jump through some hoops to get that running.
Yeah.
Although I know a few community members in chat who have done their own little community night with Battlefront 2. Maybe if you could email me some deets on how you got that running, we could maybe get that going on the feed. That could be a lot of fun. Especially, this is kind of a shameful thing, guys. I've never played a Battlefront game.
That's not that shameful.
How have you... Wait.
I've never...
Really?
Yeah, I've never played it. Never done it. Dude, my love for Star Wars faded long before the PS2 even came out. Not long before, but
I mean,
I always thought they were
mostly... Pretty much as soon as Episode 1 came out, my enthusiasm just started dipping, and I never really paid much attention to Star Wars games.
In the old times.
96? 99,
The
really?
dark times.
I feel like they were
Yeah,
always
I guess so,
a little janky, and I don't think I ever had a match that didn't lag like shit.
Well, we'll see what we can do. I'm just curious to play it. I mean, I know, especially considering this one's being made by a different studio. I'd be curious to play 2, so I can kind of compare it and see what I think of 3.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're just calling this Battlefront, right? This is
Yeah.
like a reboot or something.
Reboot.
Anyways, that's cool. I'm very hyped about Star Wars, guys. As soon as I saw that trailer, I went into my Amazon wish list and I just clicked buy now because I've had the original trilogy on Blu-ray just sitting in my wish list forever, and I just like this, now is the time, and I just
We gonna watch those?
yeah,
Wasn't
dude.
there a
The
part?
best optimal viewing experience. They even put Hayden Christensen at the end of the
Oh,
Jedi.
that-
just for thematic continuity.
Honestly, that's
I
the-
really appreciate that attention.
That's
to
like the
detail.
only like a kind of a like fucked up thing I think. Like
Oh, it's
most of
very
the other CG
ridiculous.
stuff, while you know it's CG,
I
like
love
it's
the
not
part where
it's not
Greedo
offensive.
shoots
You're
first
wrong.
and Han dodges a laser and then shoots Greedo.
But that's gone.
they
that's
took
gone.
that out.
It's not shit like that anymore. No, not at all. There's a lot of stuff they took out. Didn't they have like a blue thing, like singing a song in the cantina and shit?
Yeah.
Oh, that's gone.
Really?
Oh, Jabba's
The elephant-looking thing?
No, yeah, the
You guys are
hologram thing.
Wait.
The hologram
what
thing,
Are
right?
you talking about Max Rebo? Because I was in Jabba's palace. And he wasn't singing. He was playing the red ball jet organ.
No, I'm not talking about Max Rebo.
Oh.
No, there was
He
like a
was always there,
CG
right?
like dancing like
Was it really?
thing, and yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah, in Jabba's palace.
They removed so much of the garbage.
We watched the DVD version from a few years
Well,
ago.
that's-
like,
yeah,
like
that's the poopy one.
like true, like the
Oh.
no, not the true, but like the like
The special edition.
yeah, like the really shitty special edition
Oh.
with like the scene where like Han Solo's walking around Jabba and they literally like just took his picture like C-Lab 2021 style and were just like moving it around like while he's like stepping on Jabba's tail and everything.
Well,
Oh my god.
it's not bad like that anymore, but it still doesn't make sense why Han Solo would step on Jabba the Hutt's tail.
And why Jabba was just like
So tiny.
yeah, no, he was just like, he's like, hey, Han, you better pay me that money. Okay, that's cool. Step on my tail. All right.
His eyes don't bulge out
You have a
anymore.
good day. You have a good day, Han. Like, he's such a fucking wimp in the first one.
His eyes don't bulge out anymore either.
And then at the end of the movie, he's like feeding people to monsters. Just being a real dick.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah. Can we watch the trilogy?
Yeah.
Do
I have to wait for you to watch? I was probably gonna start.
Well, we can wait a couple weeks because Brad just watched it and
Malia knew so much about the movies just from like.
her film class or whatever.
No, she knew so much about the movies from like all the references that everything's
Oh,
done
yeah.
over the years. It's kind of funny. Like she knew that Han Solo was going to be frozen in carbonite because we watched the Dance Central like Han Solo video so many times.
Someone
So
tweeted at,
happy the carbonite's gone.
somebody tweeted at me and I was watching that and I'm like, God damn, well this is horrible. That song's catchy as fuck.
It is.
It's so fucking
What, the
catchy.
Connect Star Wars like
Yes.
dancing ones?
Yes.
The hologram girl?
Han Solo.
'Cause I ain't no
I'm Han Solo.
hologram.
This
No, I'm talking about just the Han Solo.
this
Han Solo.
is why Battlefront can't fuck this up.
Yeah.
Because we haven't had a good, like a truly good Star Wars video game in so long.
Been a while. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. Solo.
Oh my god. All right, let's move on. It's time for the community. Nolan, are you ready?
I'm ready.
I have a forum thing I kind of want to bring up. I don't know if you want me to do it now or after.
Later.
Okay, we'll do it later.
Cool. All right, time for community. Yay!
Yay!
So first thing we're going to be doing, like we've been doing for a while now, is thanking our community members, or our patrons, who have backed us on Patreon.
Our good old patrons.
So I'm just going to go through 10 of those real quick. Sunny H, Smelly Jelly, Zidane,
He loses.
ABC Commander.
Wait, are we?
I'm just gonna leave this up for the rest of the show.
ABC Commander,
You can.
Derek.
You can like Final Fantasy 9. No one likes Zidane. Stop it. He had a monkey tail.
That was the coolest.
He had a
Hey,
Jonathan Taylor
Can
Thomas
I
haircut.
just name 10 people before you all
Alright, go
start
ahead.
talking?
Go ahead, let's go.
Derek L. Quit snooping around in here. Chad G.
Wait, can we back up to that last one for a second?
Yep.
Really?
Their name is Quit Snooping
I'm
Around.
just kidding. I
in
really
Here.
know that guy exists because
Aaron L. Eric P. and Justin P.
Justin P.
So thank you guys for being patrons.
Thank you for your
We
patronage.
appreciate it.
This nice new setup is all thanks to you guys. And we have a few purchases we have to make before E3 too. So we'll be having some more upgrades coming down the pipe here.
Yeah, pipes.
Soon. Pipes!
All right, so
I'm gonna go back to
then,
flicking off Brad.
we're going to answer some questions from our patrons. First questions comes from Arxidus.
We played a game with him this week.
We did. He says, "Hey bozos, the multiplayer TF2 night got me wondering, what's your favorite free-to-play game?
I don't have one.
If you don't have a favorite, how about the ones that you played the most?"
You
I
just
don't
played
think
a
I've-
free to play game.
Yeah.
Actually,
So
Nick.
I will say that
Wait,
I
did?
don't consider TF2 a free-to-play game. It is free-to-play now, but since I got it in 2008 and it wasn't free-to-play until what, like 2012, 2013? Like the 99% of what I played of that game was not a free-to-play game.
I'm still
What's
stuck
up?
on Brad saying I just played a free to game.
TF2.
No, but like, is that what you were referring to?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a given because we just played it this week, and I said that's what brought up this question. But like, outside of that, I don't think I've ever touched a free to play game that I can remember.
Oh, come on.
I mean, name
Plants
some.
vs Zombies 2. I played a lot of that. I enjoyed it to an extent.
I really like Tribes Ascend.
Never played that
I haven't
either.
played that in a long time, so I don't know how it's changed, but it was really cool when it came out.
Mhm.
And it's definitely free to play.
It's confirmed free to play.
Any of y'all?
And
Brad?
TF2.
Brad?
TF2 is amazing.
Free to play. I mean,
Chaos Blade.
Chaos Blade. It's free to play.
Planetside 2.
Planetside 2 is really good.
Of course, Self
God,
Torment.
when is that coming to PS4?
I don't know.
Self Torment
Jesus
gets his obligatory World of Tanks joke in. I will not be playing that. Sorry. I think that's it.
Adult Swim did have some pretty good games.
Yeah.
Co-op's a good game.
Recounting that.
Chaos
I don't know.
Blade.
Why not?
Chaos Mud.
All right, moving on. Next question is from Kit1984.
Cool.
He says, "Sup, fellas? The
Sup.
release of Avengers: Age of Ultron is just around the corner. I actually think it comes out here earlier than in the U.S. I'm seeing it on Wednesday night.
Damn
If-
you, Kit.
If the $1,000 milestone hasn't been reached by then, which, let's be honest, it's pretty unlikely.
Probably
Sorry
not.
to be a party pooper. Yeah, fuck you. Will you still be recording a popcorn cast and possibly putting it up for higher tier patrons only? I'd be really interested to hear you guys' opinions.
I will say we are definitely going to record something for it.
Yeah.
We will probably hold it hostage until we hit that
We should
goal.
we should make a literal vault, not like a metaphorical vault. We should like, get a vault.
Like we should buy a safe
yeah, and
Those are
any
expensive.
and put the one thumb drive. with
yeah,
all
and
these
put a thumb
podcasts
drive in it, and we'll just keep it in there, and we're gonna lock the combo behind like the paywall or like the milestone.
So not even we know it.
yeah,
until
we don't even know it then.
we don't know the
How
combo.
would we open it? to
Well, we
put
could
the
have
flash drive?
when I used to work at Hollywood Video, we had a safe that had like a drop box kind of thing, so you could drop things in there, but you couldn't open it without the combo. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but when you buy a safe, they have you set the combo.
Well,
We're thinking way too far into this joke. The point is, yes, we will record some additional popcorn cast. I personally hope we at least hit that goal before Star Wars comes out.
I hope and think.
Every dollar, even if everybody donated $1, every one of those dollars would go towards hitting that goal. So that's just something to think about. We only have like $150 something to go until we hit that goal, and we have another milestone in between that too. So that's exciting. But we're gonna keep recording stuff mostly for big movies and things that we all kind of watch. If you have not yet, or maybe if you haven't watched Daredevil yet, we recorded a kind of a pilot episode, which is actually 3 episodes.
Yep.
Where you can kind of listen to an episode or listen to a discussion after each episode of the show. So that's available to everybody. It's on the website at 4playernetwork.com, and it's on the Patreon activity feed. So that's already out there and available. I'm sure we'll do one for Jurassic World, right?
Yeah, why not? And Big Baz, that's not how that works.
Do y'all want to talk about that trailer at all?
No.
What's different?
I don't know what to
What's
think.
changed?
They show the monster.
I don't know what to think about that movie, guys.
I don't know if it was Twitter or where it was, but this guy had a really good point. He was like, the dinosaurs that are in Jurassic World already aren't that like scientifically accurate compared to what we know now about dinosaurs.
Correct.
So the new dinosaur doesn't really look like it's that outlandish or anything. Like if scientists came out and said like this is a new species of dinosaurs we discovered, you'd just be like, oh, okay, cool. You wouldn't know. So if they're really trying to make like some kind of huge attraction to like pull in crowds that are bored with dinosaurs, why don't they make like a fucking dragon or something? Something with 2 heads.
Have you
like,
watched the trailer by
wings.
chance? The new one?
Is it? Yeah.
Okay. You're right. I agree. But looks like what they're trying. This is where I start to kind of falter on that Jurassic World trailer a little bit.
Or it's kind of like a serial killer dinosaur.
Well, yeah, it's like one, it's killing for sport, and 2, it's smart enough to like dig out this like tracking device they put in his head or something.
Yeah.
Like it's like smarter that like. It was a big enough deal that the Raptors figured out how to open doors. Now they're fucking like secret agents that know how to dig out.
The movie's gonna be like Predator, except Predator's like
a
20
giant
stories
dinosaur.
tall.
Also, I do have a small concern if there's not been a spoken line of dialogue in either trailer that's not completely stupid. So I'm a little worried about the script.
What if the dinosaur talks?
Hey,
Dude, there was a piece of dialogue that wasn't spoken that was really stupid. When he's talking about like dinosaurs wanna eat, they wanna.
Yeah. Well,
that's Chris Pratt being Chris Pratt.
But that was my thing. Is like that's how I was like, wait a second. Are they gonna turn around a corner and see this new dinosaur like fucking some other
this new dinosaur is just like
going at
raping dinosaurs?
I didn't want to use that word.
I mean,
damn it!
I've
hit my mic so many times
that
tonight.
would be really.
I like
so
Chris
sorry.
Pratt.
Moving on.
So I'll watch it.
So off topic. Which was anyway. Next question from Miklopa.
Miklopa!
He says, what? No. Piocht is after Miklopa. God damn it, Brad. What is the first console each of you owned? Chris Davis included, or excluded. And which games do you remember enjoying the most when you were kids? So my first console was a Super NES.
Mine was also a Super NES.
And it came with Super Mario World. That was the first like console game I ever had. I think that was technically the first video game I ever had.
I lied.
I
lied. Mine was an NES.
Mm-hmm.
I had one game for it.
My first games were computer games, like on like a Tandy or something.
Yeah.
See,
But the first console that I owned was also probably a Super Nintendo.
That's the thing. My family didn't have a computer until 2001, and I got my NES or SNES in like '98 or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Now, if the question was, what's the first console that you got and you fucking loved, and
that wasn't the question.
Well, I know,
Question
but I
is,
feel
what's
like it's a more interesting
first console
answer.
you ever owned?
My first console was an NES, like original NES.
Well, you know what? That wasn't the real question, Nolan, but it's a more interesting answer. And mine was the N64. I fucking loved my N64, but I really didn't give two shits about my Super NES or my NES.
There were so many games.
I didn't like gaming.
One of the only things I would change about my childhood is I would take a Super NES back in time and give it to myself because I feel like I missed out on a lot.
Sure. I didn't give it a fair shake. Like I had a Super NES. I played Mario Kart on it, and I think that's the only thing. And then for whatever reason, I think I saw Super Mario 64. I was like, that looks really cool. So I decided to play it, or get an N64 and play it, and I did. And that's kind of, I never looked back after that. I probably should have looked back because I didn't actually end up going back to play some of those classics, like any of those classics, until maybe after we started doing this podcast.
Yeah.
And even then, it wasn't. There's probably a ton that I should go back and play that I haven't.
You know what you should go back and play? Those side-scrolling Star Wars games.
Dude, Super Return of the Jedi. That's one of the few Super NES games that I remember playing.
Yeah,
but I played it
Star Wars games.
I played it at a cousin's house.
Those games are hard as fuck.
I know.
they
I just
were,
remember.
yeah.
I kept remember like, couldn't you like die by falling into the Sarlacc pit over and over again?
Yeah.
Die falling into everything.
I had Super Star Wars, and the fucking fight with Darth Vader was so goddamn hard. When he would like burst out the glass, and you could like, oh my god, it was so
In
hard.
Super Star Wars?
Yeah.
Man, I remember fighting him at the end of Empire.
It might have been Empire, yeah, that I'm thinking of. No, because the first part of the game, you're on Tatooine on the speeder.
Yeah, you know, you do
Yeah,
fight
you
Star
fight-
Wars. You do fight Darth Vader
Yeah.
in the first game.
Yeah, because you start the game on the speeder, and there's the fucking 3D thing, and you're like going off in the
Yeah,
distance.
God, that's
and
terrible.
oh my god, it was so bad. And then you're on the Jawas
Sandcrawler.
Sandcrawler. Anyway, moving on. You have to like jump on the outside. That was
Guys, I love Star Wars.
That thing's hard.
Yeah. All right. So by
could
the way,
fly in
Chris
Empire.
Davis's first system was an NES.
NES.
Yes. So moving on, the next question is from Piocht.
Piocht.
With a growing backlog of games, I feel guilty playing a game more than once. But sometimes you don't get the entire experience from just one playthrough. My question is, how often do you play through New Game Plus in a game?
Oh.
Rarely.
Very, very, very,
it'd
very
have to be
rarely.
pretty good.
I think a lot of that though is just, we've said this before, and I think in similar questions were just the nature of what we do, what I've been doing, and how my game playing habits have changed since we started doing this podcast. Is that it's pretty much beat a game and move on to the next one. And that's just,
yeah, we don't necessarily have the time to spend hundreds and hundreds of hours.
it's
on a
hard enough to
single
go back and
game.
play old games that you missed, much less play games again that you've already finished.
I think even like if I go back and play a game that I've already finished, it's usually way after the fact, and it's been so long that I don't feel comfortable playing New Game Plus.
Yeah.
I just start a new save file.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good question though.
Chris Davis says rarely as well.
Well, I mean, how many games actually have New Game Pluses that are actually
Worthwhile.
Worthwhile.
Yeah.
Gao asks, hasn't Nick played, I'm assuming he means Resident Evil, Silent Hill like 20 times? Yes, but I did all of that before we started doing this podcast.
So should I answer the next question?
Which
one?
I posted this in Hip Chat earlier.
Oh, this one?
The strangely personal question.
Oh yeah, I thought about it all day and I have an answer.
I don't think I have an answer.
I have an answer. I don't know if I want to share it.
My answer is Swiss Ball Blitz.
Oh man, mine's way more.
I didn't Google this and plan ahead.
Swiss Ball Blitz. Wait, maybe we can answer the question and we don't ask it.
Don't ask it. Just answer
they
the
can just
question.
figure it
Well,
out.
my answer to the question is going to totally give it away.
Is it missionary?
No. No. That's at the opposite end of the spectrum for me. I
Y'all need
think.
it.
Reverse cowgirl.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. That is a good one. Well, I'm a doggy
The
guy
wheelbarrow?
myself.
Alabama Hot Pocket. Ooh, what's that
Oh.
He puts in parentheses, don't Google that. Seriously.
one? Incognito mode.
Here we go.
Away.
I think you all can surmise what the question was based on our answers. I think Brad got away without answering the question though.
My girlfriend's
In the
on the
next
other side of this thin wall.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
So like chili dog?
Oh.
No, what was the one?
Raccooning?
The raccoon. You remember that one, Brad?
I don't know what raccoon
The raccooning is real. Like you finish having sex, and then what do?
You punch her in both eyes,
and you
to
run out
give
the
her a black eyes,
and
and
then
then
you
you run outside and you knock over a trash can.
So the Alabama Hot Pocket.
Oh my God.
I don't know if I should read it.
No.
but
Probably not.
the end of the description says in parentheses and possibly having sex with it afterwards.
Okay. No.
So there's a lot of prep work.
Ugh.
Oh my god.
I think I know what that
Shania.
is. I think I know what that is.
Shania decided her vagina.
No.
Let's stop. Let's stop there.
Oh my lord.
Anyway,
There's way too much stuff on the
thanks
internet.
for asking your questions, guys.
What's a Tony Danza?
Hey, we encourage people to ask non-gaming related questions, and this is what happens when we do.
What is a Tony Danza?
Nope.
It's
Who's
no.
Does it involve your boss?
It's kind of like a donkey punch, except you yell, "Who's the boss?" to make her turn around and look at you. And
No.
Who is the boss?
Nope.
Moving on.
Nope. Moving on.
on.
God dang it. Who asked that question? And should we ban them?
Sunny H.
Oh, he asked a lot of questions. That was the first question where I was like, really?
Yep.
But hey, we play along
Yep.
because we're troopers.
Moving on. Forum of the week, which we are featuring this week,
Yeah.
is the 4PP battle thread that
okay.
Chai started the other day. Have y'all seen this?
wait, 4PP battle thread.
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
So Chai created a thread, and it's essentially which would you want to fight? And it's a poll, and he has a list, and the options are: would you want to fight a platoon of Chris Davises, Super Nick, a super strength and flight, Bradspy, the fusion danced form of Brad and Crispy, a Kung Fu Nolan, Carlos as fat as the Kingpin, or psychically linked Jack and George?
Oh my god. Because they're both across the pond.
Yeah,
That's
and
good.
I think the last I saw, Bradspy and Kung Fu Nolan were tied.
Of course.
With the other, nothing super, but not too many people have voted. So if y'all want to go into that forum, it's in the 4Player network section. It should be one of the top ones. It's
Go vote. I want to see if we can
4PP
turn this
battle
around.
thread.
I'm gonna ask Chris Davis to look up the results of this poll at the end of this podcast. If someone could post a link in chat, I want to see what the reaction is. I have another forum thing I wanted to point out this week, and this is something that we just launched before the beginning of the show, and it was kind of an interesting idea, something that kind of came up in some discussions we had earlier this week. And Ed created a thread. I think he put it in the 4Player network. Yeah, he put it in the 4Player network thread over at 4playernetwork.com in the forums. And this is essentially a community. We want the community to record bumpers for our Patreon campaign that I will essentially pick. You know, if we get enough submissions, I'll kind of pick one at random and put them in the podcast during the break. These are like 30 to 40 second silly audio bumpers that, you know, basically just tell people why they should go check out our Patreon. And I think
30 to 40 seconds?
30 to 40. I mean, they could be shorter, but I mean, the one that Ed recorded, just, you know, screwing around with it was, you know, about 30 seconds or so. But whatever you want to do, you want to get creative with it, have some fun. We'd like to hear what you guys have to say. And if we get some good ones, I will go ahead and put that in the podcast during the music break. And we might even feature them if we get enough. Might even feature them during broadcast or during the podcast recording or whatnot. So go have fun with that. If someone could post a link and chat to that, or if you're listening to this down the road, you can find the link to that thread down below in the show notes.
Cool.
All right, I think it's time, Nolan.
So next, I would like to say that this is being stupid.
I only have one vote.
Dude,
for now.
no one wants to fuck with Super Nick.
Apparently.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, this isn't like who you want to see fight. It's who you want to personally
That's a good-
fight. So maybe if you having less is better because they're scared to fight you.
That's a good point.
I don't think
This
so,
is
no.
weird.
Yeah, it's an oddly worded question. You fucked up, Chai. Moving on.
You done goofed.
It's still April, so Disruptor486 is still our subscriber of their backer of the month. What are we calling it?
Supporter
now?
of the month.
Supporter of the month.
That's what I've been going with.
I need to rename this.
Sip of the month.
By the way, to anyone who Nolan reached out to, former supporters who had not received their T-shirts yet, those have officially all been sent.
One guy was, I think.
Except for the one guy who lives in a country whose country was not on the list of countries that they would mail to.
Did you reach out to that person yet?
Not yet, because I found this out yesterday.
Okay, let's sync up after the podcast so we can
Yes.
talk about this. Because one person was like, "I'm moving in a couple
It was weird.
weeks."
Like when you look at where we order the shirts from, if you look through all the list of countries they'll send to, like the most obscure, weird, I've never heard of that country. They're all on the list, but his country, which is a well-known country, not on the list.
Is it Denmark?
No.
Is it
more
America?
well-known than Denmark?
Is it Madagascar?
Scotland.
What?
Scotland.
It will not ship
Fuck
to Scotland.
those guys.
Way to go, Scotland.
It was like, we'll ship to Lithuania, or just, I don't know.
Great Scott.
Anyway.
Why are people saying, what the fuck, Nick? I didn't do it. It's not my fault.
Moving on.
Way to go, Nick.
We'll figure out something for you. We'll take a picture of the shirt and send it to you.
We'll figure it out.
So, if you would like to be our supporter of the month, all you gotta do is support us.
Whether it's through Patreon or on Twitch.
And everyone's entered in a chance for our monthly drawing.
If you do it through Patreon, it's $5 tier or higher. Or is it $3? Could be $3.
I think it's $3.
Yeah, $3. That's right.
Yeah.
$3 tier or higher on Patreon or Twitch subscriber.
Yeah.
Sorry, I fucked up.
All right. And now it's time for Chatter of the Week. Woo! It's everyone's favorite part of the show, where we pit two chatters against each other in all-out brawl, and how good their Star Wars knowledge is. It better be good. You gotta know about the Nabutus, the
Nabooians?
Nabooians.
The Metachlorians.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. Oh, God.
Even
Can
Master
they
Yoda doesn't
can they
have a
retcon that
Metachlorian.
out?
I'm
How
sure they
about
will
that?
just completely ignore it.
It's basically
I'm sure
power
they will.
levels, guys. That
Because
makes,
they're
that
not-
makes a Dragon Ball Z. That's awesome.
It's shameful because, like, they've basically retconned out every bit of, like, extended universe lore, but they're still including episodes 1 through 3, which established the most egregious fucking piece of information.
Anyway, moving on. Our first chatter this week is Michael Rion Garland in chat
Oh,
from
yeah,
Utah, a.k.a. the Seventh Circle of Hell. Michael says, shameful secret, I genuinely love Final Fantasy VIII. And Final Fantasy...
That's a shameful secret?
Mystic Quest. Although I must preface that these were my first two RPGs I played, and yes, there is a special place in hell for the draw system. I think it's more of like a lot of people don't like those, I guess.
I can understand
I don't think he should be ashamed that he likes them. Final Fantasy VIII is my favorite Final Fantasy.
Dude, I like Final Fantasy.
I love Final Fantasy VIII. It's
The
not my
draw
favorite, but I
system's
love
a little
it.
weird, but I really like the...
Those were all like 6 or 7. Well, I'm sure, 6. Pretty much everything through.
Guys.
Whatever. Point is,
Triple Triad.
it was exactly
Triple
exactly.
Triad, guys.
They made a real triple
7
triad
through
game.
9. 7 through 9 are all varying degrees of awesome.
Yeah, did y'all triple triad's out in Japan now?
Like as a card game?
Yeah,
iOS.
no,
Like-
it's a mobile game.
Oh.
And like, but
That-
the thing is, it's like, it's not just Final Fantasy VIII Triple Triad. It's like characters from like all the fucking games and shit. There's like hundreds and hundreds of different cards you can get, and like I was kind of watching the trailer for it, and there's like, Titus has his own card and shit, like Titus or
It's
whatever.
a pretty simple game.
No, it is a very simple
But
game.
it's so addicting. Holy
the
shit.
thing is, if you play it simply, there is like the elemental mode to it and shit like that, where like element takes play.
But the
and stuff
addicting part was being able. I can't remember. Do you get all of their cards, or do you get to pick one of
So it
their
depends
cards?
on the region you're in. There's rules. Sometimes you only get to keep the ones that you had flipped over. Sometimes you get to choose one. Sometimes it's one at random. Sometimes you get to keep all of them. You agree on the rules before you play the game.
It was
I
so
played Final
good.
Fantasy one time when it first came out.
Uh-huh.
I do not remember those details.
Well, I mean, I recently started replaying the game like in the past like 6 months.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because it was on PC and I got it on sale, and so I started playing it. Anyway, moving on. His greatest gaming achievement is 100%ing the original Crash Bandicoot twice. There will not be a third. I'd rather cut off my dick and throw it into a river.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Why'd you do it the second time?
I did it twice, but no more.
Because nobody saw it the first time.
All right, Michael's top 5 games of all time. Number 5, Tecmo's
Super Bowl.
I don't even know.
Deception
2. It's always 2.
Discovered.
What the fuck
Wait,
is
no,
that?
wait, hold on. His wording's really weird. Tecmo's Deception, and then I think he needs like maybe a period
Kagura.
or a hyphen or anything. Discovered this gym randomly.
Okay.
Some
needed
sort of
He
punctuation.
needed punctuation.
to differentiate where the game ends and where some more typing begins. Number 4, Jet.
Set Radio?
I'm gonna go Jet Set Radio.
Jet Grind Radio.
Force Gemini. Jet Force Gemini.
Jet Grind Radio.
Jet Set Radio Future.
Okay. I should really go back and play
Number
one of those
3,
games.
Extra Sugar.
Radiant.
Saga.
Silver Gun.
Story?
Silver Gun.
Isn't there a Radiant Saga? Did I make that up? Does that exist?
Radiant Historia, maybe you're thinking?
Maybe.
Which is a very popular JRPG on the DS. I'm going to go with Silvergun. Wait, what was his number? His 4?
Jet Set Radio.
I'm gonna refer.
He's a
Brad for this one.
Dreamcast guy, which means he might have been a Saturn guy. I'm going to go with Silvergun.
Radiant Historia.
Fuck.
Number 2, Kings.
Quest
Field.
5.
King's Quest. I don't know.
This fucking guy.
Kingsfield. He's not anybody's favorite.
Kingsfield.
Oh!
Are you serious?
Yep.
What a hipster.
That's Ryan, guys. Silly.
And then his number 1 game of all time.
Is Blood Bowl.
Blood Bowl. That game's so good.
Alundra. Can't really do anything with
All
that.
these. He's naming 5 games that are
There's
in
definitely not Alundra 2.
I don't know anything about any of
Fuck
those games.
Alundra 2.
Then what
Fuck Alundra 2.
Then is it Alundra 1?
Yeah. It's just Alundra.
Alundra.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know really much about any of those games.
Alundra 1's like Link to the
Why
Past.
is Ryan in chat saying kill Nick? What did I do? What did I do?
Because
You were born.
never heard.
All right, and this week Michael is up against Orange Burrito. Orange Burrito in chat from the UK.
All right.
What kind of
Orange
is that?
burrito.
He's probably sleeping now.
Where was Ryan from?
the 7th Circle of Hell?
Utah.
Florida?
Utah.
Oh, Utah.
Fuck this crispy guy.
No, Florida's the 6th.
Orange Burrito Shameful Secret. I can't play scary games at all. I think it's the immersive nature of gaming that makes it such a problem for me.
It is
as I'm
pretty
fine,
shameful,
as I'm fine
right?
with movies. I'm 28 and I still get unnerved by the graveyard in Ocarina of Time.
Oh,
So
shit.
you can imagine what I'm like with games like Resident Evil. They shit me up so much. I'm a massive baby.
They shit me up so much. He wins for that one.
I'd shit my pants if I played PT.
Well, we all kind of
I'm
shit
assuming
our
he
pants
meant
when we
played. He
PT.
wrote Playre.
Dude, I still shit my pants when playing
Player?
PT.
PT? All right. Maybe that's just.
I didn't say the hipster
maybe-
comment, by
Is
the
that a
way.
British thing? All right. Orange Burrito's greatest gaming achievement. I one-hit killed the final form of Jack in Final Fantasy X. Jack?
Oh, Jekt?
Jekt.
Nice. I got to the point where I maxed out my character in Final Fantasy X. So
Was that
I
how
killed
you spelled it?
Jekt, Jecht.
Did you
right?
max out your character?
He said
Maxing out-
Jacht.
Jacked. I always thought it was
remember.
jacked.
Yeah, I always thought
It's
it was
Jekt.
Jack. That's,
It is
that's, what,
Jekt.
that's what threw me off. Okay, maybe that's another British UK
Truly
thing.
maxing out your character in Final Fantasy X is like crazy.
Oh, so yeah, so let me finish.
Well, I was doing 9,999 damage with everything.
Well,
But
you can go
you can go to- you can go
past.
Or
Yeah,
nine-
you can
okay.
do
I-
99,000.
It's been like 10 years since I played the game. I don't remember.
One hit killed the final form in Final Fantasy X with a guardian.
I killed the
I
weapon
really
with like
love
2 kills,
grinding.
2
I
hits.
spent 8 hours of grinding Tokos in the same spot in Ni no Kuni, which I introduced Nick to, and he did that for a while too.
Dude, that was crazy.
I once played so many ranked matches, 100+ hours in FIFA Online. I was ranked globally in the top 63,000 of millions of players. I guess that's still pretty high.
I guess that's an achievement.
Yeah.
63,000. It's kind of daunting, but
So I guess
millions.
my greatest achievement is insatiable patience. Insatiable patience.
So he pulled a Brad, managed
Sorry.
to fit in like several in one.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Well, I think he's saying it's his love of grinding and he likes to grind on things.
He's he's a professional grinder.
Yeah, he does it on a daily basis. Top 5 games of all time. Number 5, Tony Hawk's.
Pro Skater 2.
3. Go 3.
American Wasteland.
No, no.
Pro Skater 2.
Ooh, I don't know. I pulled that out of my ass.
Number 4,
It's always 2 or 3.
GoldenEye.
007 faux show 64.
Reloaded.
You made that exact same joke last week.
Rogue Agent.
64. Number 3, SSX.
Tricky.
Tricky.
It's tricky.
3. I'll go 3.
It's tricky to rock a run to rock a run. Yeah, SSX tricky.
Yeah.
Number 2, Final Fantasy
10.
10.
10.
I would.
9.
Oh. Yeah! Because Zidane had an awesome
A
tail.
man after
I
Nick's
was talking
own
about how they
penis.
spent like 500 hours playing one Final Fantasy game, and then another Final Fantasy game is on their top 10 list.
They do that intentionally to throw us for a loop because they know that we try to guess it before no
And
one
his
tells
number
us.
one game of time is The Legend of Zelda.
Ocarina of Time.
Aki.
Link to the past.
That's my little pet name for Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina of Time.
All right. He wins.
Right after Nick's dick. I will also note that Rion Garland mentioned that wit is shit and funny is money.
All right. What? I'm going to go with the first guy.
Rion?
That's Rion.
That just made up my mind.
I'm gonna give it to Orange Burrito.
Let's hear the first guy's top 5 real quick.
Top 5 for Michael, a.k.a. Rion Garland. Tecmo's Deception, Jet Set Radio Future, Radiant Historia, Kingsfield, and Alundra.
You know what? I'm going to give it to him because Alundra doesn't get a lot of love from anyone. But Alundra's pretty fucking rad.
Crispin?
I'm gonna give it to Rion. I don't know why.
Because Alundra.
Yeah, because of Alundra. Well, and like Kingsfield. That's
crazy.
new. We haven't seen that
That's
before.
crazy.
That's a good one.
That is a
Sure,
good
why
one.
not?
Tecmo's Deception? Is
Well, I
weird.
guess you're the tiebreaker there.
No, Rion wins.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Ah,
Well, I tried Orange
no
Burrito.
more of this coin flip bullshit.
Congratulations, Rion Garland. You are this week's Chatter of the Week. You have won the win. Everyone loves you now.
Except for me. I voted for Orange Burrito.
If you would like to be Chatter of the Week, all you got to do is go to 4playernetwork.com. It's a big Chatter of the Week button. You give that a nice click. You type in your shit. And then you too could be Chatter of the Week.
You just type in your shit.
Yep.
your dates.
And that's all I got.
Give us your digits.
Hey, baby girl.
Can I have your number?
All right. Congratulations, Rion. All right. Are we ready to wrap this show up
With the 4-player minute?
with the 4-player minute?
I'm ready.
We're going to
Sure,
say
I'll go first.
our hype,
Put a
our
fucking
sweat,
pin in it.
our thank you, and our fuck you of the week.
My fuck you of the week goes to early access games, man. I just, you know what? Just you're ruining it, guys. It's not a bad idea, but you're ruining it. Fuck off. My hype goes to Fatal Frame 5. I'm kind of hyped for Fatal Frame 5, guys. Pretty hyped. My
I'll
sweat,
buy you some Depends.
my sweat goes to Terror Tuesday because the game I was playing I couldn't get working, so I got to play something else. But I have something else. I just haven't tested it yet. If that doesn't work, got to play something else. But yeah. And my thank you for the week goes to all the people who are supporting us on Patreon, keep supporting us on Patreon because it's an ongoing thing and it really helps us out. It's a big deal because, you know, without that these days, we'd probably be struggling a little more than we are, which is
Fair enough.
because of you guys.
Very true. That was the fastest 4-player minute you've ever done, Brad.
Yep.
Go ahead and say it right here. All right. My hype is for E3. We finally got our bad situation figured out. And we will be going. We're starting to plan our coverage and shit. So I'm excited. It's a fun time of year, and it looks like it's gonna be a pretty exciting show this year. My sweat.
Music hits me.
Huh?
Go ahead.
What's my sweat?
So hard.
My sweat is Battlefront. Just for the reasons I mentioned before, it looks really good, but I'm kind of hesitant when it comes to DICE, just because of the whole Battlefield 4 debacle. I don't, especially since it is going to be a multiplayer-centric game, and it is going to depend heavily on the quality of their servers and their network code and all that stuff. Like, Battlefield 4 is kind of a fucking disaster, so I don't want that to happen again. My fuck you of the week goes to Mortal Kombat, as I mentioned earlier, for leaving out some really iconic characters and then kind of fucking with the existing characters that are there in not so satisfying ways, and I don't know, it's just kind of weird. I'm gonna play it still, but seriously, fuck you for and also fuck you for removing the environmental fatalities. That's
yeah.
bullshit. And my thank you of the week goes to this might be a little premature, but it's okay. I'm gonna kind of use this to kind of
Ejaculate.
create another hype,
Oh, okay.
which is thank you. I'm gonna just say thank you, Disney, I guess, for getting me excited for Star Wars again.
You're the worst.
Why am I the worst?
I would aim that at J.J. Abrams. If
Is it J.J. Abrams? Because I'm excited for a lot more than just the new movie. Like, I am straight up reliving like my excitement for the franchise in general again. And I think that bigger thank you maybe goes to Disney. Like, I've learned, like, getting ready for my trip to Disney World, I'm kind of...
Oh, that's why you're thinking Disney.
Well, yeah.
I see what's
I'm
going
going to
on
be
here.
in Disney World on May the 4th. Like, that's kind of exciting. But at the same time...
That is pretty exciting. Are you going to dress up?
Do they do stuff for that day?
Yeah, they're
going to now.
They're doing Star Wars themed fireworks, like a fireworks show where they play the Star Wars music while the fireworks are going off.
Are they going to have one that blows
Oh
up
my
and
god,
it looks like the Death Star?
Is it gonna be like the end of fucking Jedi? And there's
Yeah.
Fucking hope so.
And fucking like Ewoks like carrying like the C-3PO.
And Princess Amidala's got all that weird stuff on her face.
If there was ever a time when Mark Hamill was going to be in Disney World, it'd probably be that day.
Maybe.
Anyways, I'm more saying it because I've learned while getting ready for this trip that Disney has their shit together. Like, their vacation planning, like their website, like all their shit, like they know what they're doing. And it seems to me like Star Wars is in good hands.
You know that they're making like a live action Mulan?
They are, yeah. They are.
I like Mulan.
They're
I like
making
Mulan
they're
too.
making a Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Not Disney.
I know not Disney, yes, but sorry.
But there's
Yeah.
they're
And I don't know if there's gonna have make your own. Are they doing make your own lightsabers? Oh my god, Reborn says they're okay. If they're doing that, of course I'm doing that. But they are.
Yeah.
They are. There is gonna be exclusive Star Wars merch that you can only get on that day.
Your
at
own
Disney World.
crystal to power the lightsaber.
You shut up. Also,
What? They got that crystal?
also,
KOTOR for 20 hours.
thank you for renewing to Netflix for renewing Daredevil for a second season. That's fucking exciting.
Yeah.
I know that's 5 things. I apologize.
Too many things.
Nolan, go ahead.
All right, my hype. My 4-player minute starts now. My hype. Crypt of the Necrodancer officially comes out on Thursday.
Neck bro dancer.
Yes, officially comes out on Thursday. It's leaving early access. It's going to be just a game. Comes out on Thursday.
Oh my god.
Yep. I'm really excited for Crypt of the Necrodancer. Ryan, one of the devs, sent me a code for it earlier today. And so I played some of the final version, and I'm really liking it.
Cool.
My sweat is my computer.
Uh-oh.
It's like right on the edge of being shitty. Like I can play most games, but then it's like The Witcher 3. I kind of want to get it on PC.
Oh, that's what you're worried about.
It's I don't know.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
might as well. I mean, the thing is, your PC is probably just as powerful as your
I'm just gonna
PS4.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep it simple and play it on PS4.
But usually it's also one of those things where I can usually get deals on
That's
PC
true.
games where I can't on PS4.
That is true.
Yeah.
Also mods.
Yeah, and then the mods. So that's why it's my sweat. I don't know what to do. I'm at that position where it's like, well, I could update. Like, I definitely have been thinking about updating my cooler because my CPU seems to run a little hot. I'm thinking maybe getting a better cooler might help with that because I kind of just have an okay cooler. But then I'm like, but then while I'm in there, I could probably I want to get a new graphics
While I'm performing
card.
surgery, I could just do more.
I mean, the only thing on my PC I'm happy with is my RAM. Everything else, I would like to get new. I want a new motherboard. I want a new processor. I want new graphics card.
That's building an.
And yeah, that's essentially building a new PC, which I plan on doing maybe next year. Maybe next year's tax return might go towards that, but that's still a year from now.
Yep.
My thank you goes to Xseed for making such a what's the word I'm looking for?
Boobs.
No, not boobs. Customizable dressing room.
Customizable boobs.
So it's like y'all haven't seen it. Fuck you, Chris Davis. A free copy of Witcher 3 with the purchase of an NVIDIA 970 for only $295.
Oh, dude, don't worry. I'm sure you can. I'm sure when that game comes out, you can just trip over a free copy. They've been giving it out like candy.
I think we all got. Well,
Like-
they gave us. Was that PAX or E3? They gave out
There were multiple
codes
shows
for.
where they were doing that.
I think I have a free copy of Witcher 3 at home, but I don't know.
I'll take
You
it.
probably do.
If
you've
I
got one of
find
those
it, I'll give
little
it to you. 'Cause I'm not
girl
playing it on PC.
statues you do.
Cool. So the dressing room, y'all haven't seen a lot of it, but you can completely customize anything. So like all the accessories, like hats and stuff like that. Like I made like this one girl's hat giant, so it's like this big.
You've talked about this.
No, I didn't talk about that. Like I think I made like big bunny ears, but then I didn't. I went into like crazy there's like a face mask, and instead you can change the body parts. I put it on her, so she has like masks on her boobs.
Of course.
But now that means when she gets stripped, like she's just gonna have masks there, so it's even less sexualized.
Oh,
Just doing your part, huh?
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. And then my fuck you this week goes to the lower end Dark Beast in Bloodborne. Fuck that guy. I've spent so much time trying to fucking fight him. It's frustrating.
I can't wait to
Is
fight
like
him.
a hard version of the Dark Beast?
Yes, it's a much more difficult version. He's a little more aggressive and obviously more powerful.
Getting close underneath his arms. Okay,
okay.
strategy
Yeah,
to every...
That's definitely... Brad, I've been trying
Yeah.
that.
No, I'm saying Chris Davis is talking.
Oh, yeah. Is he talking about the I guess...
We'll have a conversation like that.
Anyway,
after the
yeah,
podcast.
moving on.
All right.
Crispy.
Okay.
Take us
so my hype is for actually it's for Batman Arkham Origins Blackgate, which I'm gonna play this week, which is the only Batman Arkham game I've never played. It could suck, who knows?
It's a
But
little weird.
it still has all this potential in the unknown for me, so maybe it'll be pretty good. We'll see. My sweat goes to Star Wars Battlefront. It's so big. It's such a big thing, man. If it's disappointing, that'll be like extra disappointing. But who knows?
I want very much for that game to come out and love it.
Oh man, those space battles. That's when you go like, how long's it been? How long's it been since the last one came out?
Well, it was on PS2.
Yeah, so let's say the better part of
I think it was
decade,
2007.
right? When it's been that long since a Battlefront game comes out, you expect that the third one would have like
So the other ones have space battles?
2 did.
Okay.
Yeah, it would have at least something that the last one had, but whatever. Thank you, or my fuck you for the week goes to Titan Souls. That game looks really awesome. I'm never gonna fucking play it. Fuck that game. I don't know what that game looks really cool, but I don't think I can. The demo was so frustrating.
All you got to do is beat one boss.
Especially like
and
how quickly it's not even like a Dark Souls thing where like if you get hit you just lose most of your health. This is like one hit, you're just done. Go back to the the world map and run back to the boss.
The thing is, once you land one hit and you get that one kill, its hooks are kind of
Dude,
in.
I'm sure it's great. I'm sure that's great.
You need more.
I'm the last person in this group I thought would be playing this game, to be totally honest, but I am.
And then my thank you for the week goes to Games Workshop for making Blood Bowl, because I'm sure there was somebody out there who was like, I want a turn-based strategy game that simulates football but with fantasy characters. So for the 2 people that game applies to, thank you. And they're doing another one for PS4.
What?
Which I'm probably going to try when it comes out. It's probably going to be the same
That
shit.
is the weirdest fucking thing I've
It's
ever
such
heard.
a weird game. It's so fucking weird. It's turn-based football, first of all. I don't know. It's fucking weird.
That is weird.
You know what I'm
But
hyped
thanks.
for? You know what I'm hyped for?
What?
To see George play the shitty game that is Aru's Awakening tomorrow.
He's gonna play that?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
man.
want to watch and see how that goes.
All right.
And thanks to the YouTube commenter who was like, "Nolan, I played the whole game. It's not worth it." So I'm like, I'm definitely stopping.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, guys. That is it for the show. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. If you're catching this at home, if you have not yet, please, you can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. We'd really appreciate it. And we occasionally ask you guys to go leave us a review on iTunes. That really helps us out in the podcast rankings and whatnot, getting our names out there. So we'd appreciate it. Of course, 4playernetwork.com is the website. Let's see who won this poll. Who wins?
Bradsby.
Bradsby, the fusion. I can't read that. Fusion dance. Fusion danced form of Brad and Crispy won the poll.
Not earrings.
No.
Well, that's permanent. The
Yeah,
permanent
do you want to be permanently
That's
fused?
irreversible.
I know. It'd be like a Ronnie Raymond.
We'd have to fill the 4th chair like permanently.
old guy who was also Firestorm situation.
What would Malia think
Here's
about
my
that,
question.
Brad?
Well, that's a good question. Also, would y'all's internal
least we play
taste
some
in video
fucking
games
Castlevania.
conflict with each other, and would y'all have would you have some kind of personality disorder because your
Yeah,
internal
definitely.
opinions are just constantly in conflict.
Yeah.
What I wanna know.
Speaking of Ewoks, I recently watched An Idiot Abroad. Have you seen that show?
No.
Yeah, I watched
Yeah,
that
the
show.
last season, it's him, this Carl Plinking, whatever his name is, Plinkton, whatever, and it's him and Warwick Davis.
Oh my god.
Going across the Silk
That
Trail.
was a pretty good series.
And yeah, it's just so often he references like, "Were you dressed up as a bear?"
Yeah.
Like referencing like Star Wars.
That's
Oh,
funny.
they go to that village for little people,
Yeah.
and like Warwick Davis is kind of freaked out by the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's it. That's the show. Thank you for
Cool.
listening. Of course, you can catch us. We broadcast games every single day over at 4pp.tv. We don't miss days. We know we just don't do that. We always broadcast. And of course, you can catch us here next Tuesday night, same time, same place for another podcast. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Slash listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.